There are people who were never meant to become heroes, yet fate forces them to be. And Wang Lin is one of them. Born into an ordinary family, he carried a simple wish in his heart to cultivate immortality and repay his parents' kindness. But the world is never that kind. No talent, no background, no guidance, everything seemed to whisper to him, the path of cultivation is not for you. Yet in the midst of that hopelessness, Wang Lin chose something that very few have the courage to do. He kept going. He walked forward with stubbornness. He walked forward with longing. He walked forward with everything left in his resilient heart. A strange opportunity came to him, opening a path of cultivation drenched in blood and loneliness. There, every improvement required a sacrifice. Every step forward meant losing something precious. To grow stronger, he had to endure 100 times more than ordinary people. Renegade Immortal is the tale of a man who never submits. A man willing to defy the heavens, defy fate, and defy the world just to protect what his heart refuses to let go. This is not merely an immortal cultivation story. This is the journey of a soul so powerful that even eternity must bow. And today, I invite you to step into that journey, the journey of Wang Lin, the man who walks against the will of heaven to find the answer meant for himself. The killing beast's appearance was somewhat similar to Ling Tian, who's in the immortal realm, except for the color. Furthermore, its aura wasn't as powerful as that of the sword venerable Ling Jianhu. Killing remnant soul. Wang Lin stared at the beast. He raised his right hand and grasped at the air. Instantly, streams of black energy flew from all directions, condensing into a long spear in his hand. The golden Kilin roared. Suddenly, a golden light appeared. Then, it flashed and lunged towards Wang Lin. The spear in Wang Lin's hand trembled as he thrust it forward. Boom! A loud explosion resounded, and countless cracks appeared in the surrounding spiritual veins. Wang Lin retreated 2 steps. The light transformed into a small speck and disappeared. Although the Kilin Ling Shenho is still alive, it cannot inherit or perform magic. The remnant soul before me, though weaker, can use magic, clearly indicating it possesses an inheritance. Wang Lin patted his storage bag. Suddenly, 2 bells appeared. He waved his hand, and the 2 bells flashed and flew towards the Kilin. The Kilin immediately stood upright, its 2 front legs stomping forcefully. Instantly, a loud explosion resounded. The surrounding spiritual veins were immediately destroyed. A powerful blast of energy spread, causing both of them to stagger and slow down their attack. Wang Lin snorted softly. His body moved slightly, and the spear in his hand trembled as he thrust forward. Amidst the thunderous explosion, the spear transformed into a black beam of light, piercing through the Kilin's body. The beast let out a terrifying shriek. From the spot where the spear pierced it, streams of black gas emanated, transforming into the souls of countless people. Wang Lin, without a word, patted his storage bag. Instantly, a soul banner appeared. After he waved it, the souls flew towards the banner. The Killing beast roared loudly. Immediately, the flying souls were sucked back into its body. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He waved his right hand, and the soul spring appeared. Then, he began to fight with the Killing beast to seize the souls. The 2 bells instantly grew larger, enveloping the Killing beast in an instant. The Killing beast also shrieked, spewing black smoke from its nostrils, transforming into 2 small Killing beasts that attacked the 2 bells. Wang Lin's right hand formed a hand seal. Immediately, numerous restrictions flew out around him, simultaneously striking the beast and sealing it inside. Then, he retrieved the 2 bells. Looking at the scattered souls emanating from the Killing beast's body, Wang Lin snorted softly and shouted, "Vile creature! If you possessed the abilities of your ancestors, Wang Lin wouldn't be able to defeat you. But now, you're just a remnant soul, so destroying you is no problem." As he spoke, Wang Lin's hands swiftly unleashed a series of illusory restrictions in all directions around the Killing beast. They resembled a spider web descending from above. The Killing beast roared and struggled, destroying many of the restrictions. But Wang Lin's hands didn't stop, continuously unleashing restrictions upon the Killing. Slowly, sweat beaded on Wang Lin's forehead. Countless restrictions were unleashed in a short period of time. The Killing beast roared incessantly, but its body seemed to be sinking into water, gradually weakening. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He potted his storage bag with his right hand. A small flag flew out. The Forbiddance banner, upon appearing, trembled slightly. Countless forbiddance just shrieked and flew out. A black spear suddenly appeared in front of Wang Lin. He let out a soft cry, and the spear shot towards the golden Qilin. At the same time, Wang Lin's right hand quickly formed a hand seal, unleashing streams of soul springs. His body, like a flash of lightning, pierced through 2 or 3 soul springs before stopping. The black spear shrieked in midair, stabbing towards the Qilin. Its eyes were filled with rage. Its body trembled slightly, and instantly more than 10 streams of golden light appeared around it. Boom, boom. Several explosions rang out. The spear, condensed by the forbiddance formation, collided with the streams of golden light and disappeared. However, a small part of the spear still managed to pierce its body. Suddenly, numerous souls immediately poured out and were absorbed by the soul spring that Wang Lin had previously arranged. The Qilin beast roared loudly, struggling desperately, causing the restrictions on its body to be continuously broken. Wang Lin raised his eyebrows. He only thought that the Qilin beast's illusory body was formed from a few remaining souls, and didn't possess such power. It could be said that those few souls were not much different from a late-stage great perfection nascent soul cultivator. With more time, it could reach a strength equivalent to the nascent soul stage. Wang Lin's eyes darkened. He lightly waved his right hand forward, and the beast-taming scroll immediately flew out, followed by the appearance of the divine chariot. The soul beast on the divine chariot had been weakened after fighting Hong Dai, but at this moment, the soul beast on the chariot, upon seeing the remnants of the Qilin beast's soul, was shaken, its eyes showing a look of covetousness. The remnant soul of the Qilin, upon seeing the spirit beast, immediately lowered itself, as if encountering its natural enemy. It no longer struggled, its eyes revealing a clear fighting spirit. Seeing this, Wang Lin let out a small exclamation. A glint of light flashed in his eyes. He immediately struck a spiritual incantation onto the war chariot with his right hand. The spirit beast on it immediately let out a joyful roar. For the first time, it didn't wait for the war chariot to open before instantly appearing. It didn't even bother to devour Wang Lin, but instead dragged the black chain towards the remnant soul of the Qilin. The remnant soul of the Qilin also roared. Countless yellow light beams suddenly appeared in front of it, blocking the spirit beast. The spirit beast roared and charged forward. A loud explosion rang out, shattering all the light beams. The spirit beast's body immediately collided with the remnant soul of the Qilin. Instantly, both beasts let out a groan. The spirit beast charged with such force that its body pulled the iron chain straight, causing it pain. However, it didn't retreat but turned its head and snapped its mouth at the chain. The enraged spirit roared back at Wang Lin, clearly showing its intention. The remnant soul of the Qilin beast was no match for the spirit beast. The restrictions on its body were instantly broken. Countless souls immediately emerged from its body. As soon as the souls appeared, they were quickly absorbed by the soul springs all around. In an instant, they were all swallowed. The golden color on the Qilin's body was no longer as clear as before, but became ethereal. It stared at the spirit beast, its eyes filled with resentment. It let out a low growl but dared not advance. After all, it was only a remnant soul now. If it were in its strongest period, it wouldn't be afraid of the spirit beast. But at this moment, it was no match. The Qilin beast was sent flying. A golden soul banner instantly appeared in its previous position. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and without hesitation, he appeared beside the soul banner. He was about to grab the soul banner when the Qilin beast roared angrily and lunged forward. Wang Lin sneered, pointing his right hand at the chariot. Instantly, the iron chain binding the soul beast to the chariot disappeared. Freed from the chain, the soul beast roared excitedly. Its body was like a flash of lightning, darting out. Its wide mouth lunged towards the Qilin beast. The Qilin beast let out a loud roar of defiance. Reluctantly, it abandoned Wang Lin and turned to flee. Immediately, the two beasts began chasing each other. The souls flying out from the Qilin beast's body were instantly absorbed by the soul spring. Wang Lin held the yellow flag in his hand. The moment his hand touched the soul banner, an icy cold sensation penetrated his body. After running around a few times, it became still. Wang Lin's eyes showed joy. He opened his mouth and spat out a little blood essence onto the soul banner. His drop of blood was quickly absorbed by the soul banner. Up! Wang Lin shouted. He raised his arm, and the golden soul banner immediately flew up as well. Instantly, an arm enveloped in black energy emerged from the soul banner, piercing straight through the soul refining peak. From afar, black energy billowed from the soul refining peak. Then it transformed into a black sphere of energy and quickly dispersed in all directions. At this moment, all the disciples on Soul Refining Peak looked up, their eyes wide with astonishment at the black energy on the mountaintop. Earlier, they had heard howling sounds emanating from the mountain. But those roars contained a very powerful force that made them dare not investigate. Deep within the 3 mountains of the Soul Refining Sect, 9 golden rings of light trembled. On the 8th ring, a person with graying hair suddenly appeared. That person stared intently at the black energy. Just as he was about to go and see what it was, he suddenly stopped. Then he turned towards the 9 golden rings of light. Behind those 9 rings of light, a blood-red ring of light flickered. He respectfully said, "I obey the ancestors' command." After saying that, he returned to the ring of light and disappeared. Wang Lin held the golden soul banner. He lightly waved it and shouted, "Kilin main soul, capture." In an instant, the golden Kilin, which had been frantically harassed by the soul beast and nearly devoured several times, transformed into a golden beam of light and flew into the soul banner. Wang Lin held the soul banner in his hand, feeling both joy and fear. This time, he had found a treasure. At this moment, the soul beast was truly enraged. It already harbored deep hatred for Wang Lin, and now that he had stolen its nourishing meal, it turned and roared, charging forward. Although Wang Lin couldn't control the soul beast, he could still seal it. Therefore, he remained calm, his right hand forming a hand seal and pointing into the air. Instantly, an iron chain appeared from the chariot, locking the soul beast tightly. The spirit beast let out an angry roar and was dragged back, disappearing from the chariot. Immediately, the chariot transformed back into the beast-taming scroll. Wang Lin didn't wear it on his wrist. After sealing it, he put it into his storage bag. Having done all this, his body suddenly flashed and disappeared into the deepest part of the spiritual vein. Then, he reappeared on Soul Refining Peak. At this time, the black mist on the mountaintop was extremely dense. Wang Lin looked up at the black mist and pondered thoughtfully. That resounding noise would surely have been detected by the cultivators beyond the nascent soul stage of the Soul Refining Sect. But now, no one has come here. Wang Lin stared intently at the 9 golden rings of light. Then he glanced at the 2 blood-red rings of light several times. At this moment, although his cultivation hadn't fully recovered, he wasn't afraid at all. Even if a nascent soul stage cultivator came here, he could tear open a spatial rift and use the star compass to escape. Suddenly, he saw a pair of sorrowful but somewhat benevolent eyes flash within the blood-red rings of light before disappearing. Ah! Wang Lin blinked his eyes. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. Who is this person?" The blood-red light in his eyes vanished. Wang Lin pondered for a moment. "Now, whether I stay in the Soul Refining Sect or not is no longer important. For my nascent soul to recover, unless I have a miraculous elixir, it can only be done under extremely strong pressure. Generally speaking, there are methods, but they are somewhat dangerous." Wang Lin looked towards the 2 peaks of soul extraction and soul locking, thought for a moment, and his eyes became more resolute. His body suddenly moved, transforming into a stream of light. In an instant, he soared from Soul Refining Peak towards Soul Extraction Peak. As his figure passed by, a woman with a striking figure stood in a corner of Soul Refining Peak, watching Wang Lin intently. She sighed softly, muttering, "He recovered so quickly. To imprint my image in his heart, I need to know what's in his heart. But after several days of contact, I still can't see through his heart. Senior Brother Wang, what exactly is your heart?" Wang Lin descended to the Soul Extraction Peak. His divine consciousness swept across and found a cave dwelling. His figure was like a flash of lightning, darting towards it. Inside that cave dwelling was the disciple with the most profound cultivation, excluding the great elder, Su Jinshi. As soon as Wang Lin appeared, Su Jinshi, who was sitting cross-legged meditating, opened his eyes, his expression slightly displeased. Wang Lin stood in Su Jinshi's cave dwelling, glanced at him, and said calmly, "Can you obtain the Soul Extraction Jade Slip?" Su Jinshi was silent for a moment, then nodded. He couldn't discern the other party's cultivation level, nor had he met this person before. But judging from the clothes he wore, he was also a person from the Soul Refining Peak. In the soul refining sect, disciples from the three peaks can exchange with each other. If someone is skilled enough, they can obtain all three soul refining techniques. Many years ago, Sujinchi passed through the soul refining peak and obtained a soul refining jade slip. I can give you the soul extraction jade slip, however, I have a soul refining banner. It's missing over 300 undead souls to become a heavenly soul banner. Give me 300 undead souls, and I'll let you see it, Sujinchi said, gritting his teeth. Wang Lin glanced at Sujinchi. With his status, there was no need to resort to robbery. He potted his storage bag with his right hand, and instantly a heavenly soul banner appeared in his hand. This banner contained over 2,000 undead souls. He lightly shook his hand, and 300 undead souls flew out. Wang Lin grabbed with his left hand, and the 300 souls were instantly condensed into a fist-sized black bead, which he then threw to Sujinchi. Tikimda, being a straightforward person, immediately took out a pink jade slip from his storage bag and handed it to Wang Lin, saying, "What is your name, senior brother?" "Qing Mu." Wang Lin took the jade slip and scanned it with his divine consciousness. Indeed, the jade slip contained records of how to obtain a life soul and a series of methods to prevent its dissipation. Finally, there was a method for using a life soul to refine a talisman. The soul extraction technique also has 3 types of divine abilities: mind stabilization, soul guidance, and ancient self-reliance. Mind stabilization is the fundamental technique of soul extraction. Without mind stabilization, attempting soul extraction would have a low success rate. Only after employing mind stabilization would the success rate increase significantly. Soul guidance is the official technique of soul extraction. It is the method to extract a life soul from a living person's body. As for the last technique, ancient self-reliance, it is the most vicious type of magic. It is also the most powerful magic on Soul Extraction Peak and a famous blood sacrifice on Soul Refining Peak. Self-cultivation is a bizarre type of magic. It can transform a living soul into a type of gugu, is a type of poisonous creature that harms people. Legend says that in barbarian lands, they often put it in food and drink. Anyone who eats it will become insane and delirious. Self-cultivation is about nurturing that poisonous creature, thereby killing people invisibly. Even after a long period of refinement, it can create a goose soul beast with strength equivalent to a core formation cultivator. But if that were all, the self-cultivation technique wouldn't be anything special. Countless years ago, on Soul Extraction Peak, a disciple betrayed his sect and left. He used the self-cultivation technique, then transformed his appearance and wreaked havoc throughout the 4-tiered cultivation nations. Finally, he established his own sect, calling himself the Den Demon Dao. It's unknown what methods this person used to refine ancient beast souls into pills-forming elixirs. Then, he incorporated the 6 energies of corpses to form 6 elixirs. He also used this method to successfully cultivate to the god transformation realm. He can be considered a genius. 6 elixirs are completely different from golden elixirs. A golden elixir can only be 1, while 6 elixirs are unlimited in number. This person used ancient magic, refining over 100,000 6 elixirs in his lifetime. When he attacked, countless 6 elixirs would self-destruct with immense power. Even the powerful transformation realm experts would be troubled by him. Normally, they wouldn't bother him. After all, the self-destruction of tens of thousands of 6 elixirs is earth-shattering. If he were to detonate all of them, the power would be unimaginable. The Soul Refining Sect never pursued any charges of treason against him. This puzzled many people. Eventually, that person disappeared and gradually faded into the river of history. Tikimna glanced at Wang Lin and said, "Senior brother Qingmu wants to go to Lock God Peak to get the Lock God Jade Slip?" Wang Lin retrieved the Soul Extraction Jade Slip and nodded. Tikimna smiled wryly and said, "Senior brother, you don't need to go. No one on Lock God Peak has the Lock God Jade Slip. Only the nascent soul ancestor can see it. The disciples of Lock God Peak mainly cultivate artifacts, unlike us. They cultivate both soul refining and soul extraction in the same place." Wang Lin nodded slightly. His figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was on Lock God Peak. He randomly asked a disciple and received the same answer as Tikimna. As for the spiritual veins deep within soul extraction and Lock God Peak, Wang Lin also investigated. In these 2 places, only Lock God Peak had a soul banner. However, its power was not great. Moreover, the souls within were inconsistent in terms of strengths and weaknesses. Wang Lin casually retrieved them. Meanwhile, the soul extraction peak was completely empty. Evidently, someone had taken the soul banners from there. After finishing, Wang Lin looked up at the 9 golden rings of light and the 2 blood-red rings of light. His eyes blinked, revealing a resolute expression. Whether my primordial spirit can be restored ultimately depends on today. I want to challenge the nascent soul transformation old monster of the soul refining sect. Only under the pressure of the nascent soul transformation old monster can my primordial spirit recover. Then I will use the star compass to escape. The nascent soul transformation old monster won't be able to catch up. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his eyes revealing a fighting spirit. His body moved slightly, transforming into a rainbow streak and flying towards the 9 rings of light. At the same time, his left hand produced the 10,000 golden soul banner, while his right hand held the Forbiddance banner with 999 Forbiddance enchantments. In an instant, Wang Lin's figure arrived outside the 9 golden rings of light. As he neared them, Wang Lin lightly flicked his hands. Immediately, the soul banner in his left hand let out a wailing sound. A golden Killen roared and appeared. Behind it was a 9-headed black Killen demon beast, along with countless souls transformed into black winds howling in the air. The entire space of the soul refining sect was enveloped in souls, filled only with wailing sounds. This was the first time Wang Lin had used the 10,000 golden soul banner. Its power was beyond his imagination. The golden Killen roared and charged towards the 9 golden rings of light. Boom, boom, boom. Several earth-shattering explosions resounded. The golden Killen and its subordinate souls struck the rings of light. The 9 rings of light flashed, transforming into 9 figures, both male and female, of varying ages. These 9 people were indeed the 9 great nascent soul cultivators of the soul refining sect. After they appeared, their eyes stared at the golden Killen with fear. The golden Killen took 2 steps back. Its enormous head shook violently and spewed out 2 streams of black gas, spreading around. Wang Lin leapt onto the top of the golden Killen's head. The beast hesitated slightly but did not shake its head. Its eyes flashed with ferocity as it stared at the 9 people. How dare you! A middle-aged woman among the 9, with an ordinary appearance and early nascent soul cultivation, coldly glared at Wang Lin. Her body moved slightly, preparing to attack. Wang Lin glanced at her and shouted, "Get lost!" A vast aura surged from Wang Lin's body. The aura was too powerful for the woman to withstand. After all, Wang Lin's cultivation hadn't reached the nascent soul stage, only lacking the realm of intent. But he had once defeated Hong Dai. The name Zhang Nia was famous on Jukestar. With his cultivation and knowledge, how could ordinary cultivators possibly compare? After all, the woman only had the early stage of the nascent soul realm. Back then, when he was at his strongest, killing someone wouldn't be as easy as flipping a hand, but it wouldn't be too difficult either. Killing a cultivator of the same level is completely different from killing a cultivator of a different level. At this moment, Wang Lin shouted loudly, his aura causing the woman, who had just reached the early stage of the nascent soul realm, to hastily retreat several steps. Her face turned pale, and she looked terrified. This immediately enraged her. Since reaching the early stage of the nascent soul realm, she had never been yelled at like this. But in an instant, she managed to restrain her anger, staring at Wang Lin with a cold smile. How could someone who could become a nascent soul cultivator be a fool? She thought that this person dared to come here to provoke her, surely possessing not only personal strength, but also other qualities. Just looking at the golden Killen, she was already no match for him. 9 of you, please make way. Wang Lin stood atop the Killen, his gaze calm, speaking slowly. Arrogant. An old man in a green robe among the 9 narrowed his eyes and snorted coldly. He lightly pointed his right hand forward. A beam of spiritual light suddenly appeared in the air and transformed into an iron chain. The chain twisted and lunged towards Wang Lin. Wang Lin swung the Forbiddance banner in his right hand. Immediately, countless Forbiddance artifacts roared out, intertwining in front of him and transforming into a black spear. Wang Lin lightly tapped it, and the spear shot out. A loud bang resounded as the spear struck the iron chain. Instantly, the iron chain shattered into pieces. The spear's speed did not decrease, like a lightning bolt, hurtling towards the old man. At the same time, the soul banner in Wang Lin's left hand suddenly moved. The golden kiln beneath his feet roared. After Wang Lin uttered the command, "Devour," 10,000 souls swirling around him shrieked and rushed forward. From afar, it looked as if a giant whirlwind was moving within the soul-refining sect. Just then, an aged voice emanated from within the blood-red light. "Young friend, I have been waiting for you for a long time." Suddenly, a figure clad in a light blue robe emerged from the blood-red circle. His robes were so loose that they billowed with every movement. His complexion was ashen, and he appeared very old, yet possessed remarkably bright eyes. He glanced at Wang Lin, then raised his right hand. "9 of you, retreat." A seemingly gentle wave of his hand unleashed a powerful force. The 9 nascent soul cultivators respectfully vanished, carried away by that force. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, revealing a fighting spirit. Although he couldn't discern the old man's cultivation level, he was certain he was at the nascent soul stage. "Young friend Zheng Niu, I've waited 2 years for this day." The old man's gaze towards Wang Lin held a hint of strangeness. Almost instantly, Wang Lin recognized those eyes as the same ones he had seen yesterday. He wasn't surprised that the other party knew his identity. If Liu Mi could find this place, it wasn't surprising that the nascent soul stage ancestor of the soul refining sect would also know. "Today, we meet. First, I'll give you a gift, then we can talk later." The old man glanced deeply at Wang Lin. After a moment of silence, he suddenly raised his right hand and pointed towards the soul refining peak. His gentle voice, which had been speaking to Wang Lin, suddenly turned fierce, radiating an extremely cold, killing intent. "Liu Mi, you brat! Get out of the 1,000-mile radius of the soul refining sect within 10 breaths. Otherwise, even if you are a disciple of the Vermilion Bird, I will kill you as usual. Transform." On the soul refining peak, the beautiful figure of Liu Mi slowly ascended, her face filled with pain, and she respectfully said, "Senior, I have a master's command, and I haven't angered you. Why do you need to do this?" Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, but his mind quickly analyzed the situation before him. 6 breaths, the old man said calmly. "Senior, if I return like this, I will surely be reprimanded by my master. If my master asks, I can only explain clearly." Liu Mi sighed softly, her lips pressed together. 4 breaths, a hint of killing intent appeared in the old man's eyes. He grabbed at the air with his right hand. Instantly, the illusion of a large flag, 3 jang high, appeared before him. From within the illusion of the flag, an unimaginable force emanated. For the first time, Liu Mi's expression changed. 10 billion soul banners. She stared intently at the old man, then gritted her teeth and disappeared, leaving the soul refining sect. The old man didn't pay attention to where Liu Mi had disappeared, but turned around, his gaze still strange as he looked at Wang Lin, smiling and saying, "Little friend Zheng Niu, how about that small gift?" Liu Mi's presence was like a sharp knife pressed against Wang Lin's back. He always felt as if a venomous snake was staring at him. At this moment, with Liu Mi gone, that feeling completely disappeared. Wang Lin smiled wryly and said, "That should be considered a grand gift. Senior, you're not afraid of offending the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, but instead of feeling happy, I feel afraid." The ancestor of the soul refining sect was indeed an extremely interesting person. Wang Lin had thought carefully. Previously, without this person's permission, Liu Mi couldn't have entered the soul refining sect. He had never driven her away before, but today he did so in front of Wang Lin. That was just to show Wang Lin that his soul refining sect didn't care about the Vermilion Bird Kingdom at all. All of that was because of Wang Lin. Such a thing couldn't possibly be considered a small token of respect. The old man laughed heartily, saying, "Offending the Vermilion Bird Kingdom is nothing to worry about. Even today, that old Vermilion Bird can't make the entire Vermilion Bird Kingdom exert its full strength for him." Wang Lin thought for a moment, then looked at the old man and said, "Senior, what are your orders? Please tell me." The old man's eyes showed a hint of admiration, and he smiled, saying, "No hurry. That was just the first gift. Now, I will give you the second gift. Zheng Niu, your primordial spirit needs to be restored, right? You came to me hoping to borrow my pressure to speed up the recovery of your primordial spirit, didn't you? My second gift is to help you restore your cultivation." Without waiting for Wang Lin to speak, a golden light immediately appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, a powerful wave of pressure, far stronger than the pressure of the spiritual vein, emanated from the old man's body, focusing on Wang Lin. Is that enough? Wang Lin's body trembled instantly. As the pressure pressed down, he felt as if he were being crushed under countless mountains. Numerous cracking sounds emanated from his body. The cracks in his primordial spirit were slowly shrinking, but the speed was too slow. Not enough. Wang Lin gritted his teeth. The light in the old man's eyes intensified. His robe fluttered even without wind. Slowly, his robe swelled. Instantly, a wave of pressure 10 times stronger than before descended. The surrounding space vibrated. Cracks rapidly spread in all directions. How is it? Blood seeped from every pore of Wang Lin's body. His eyes were bloodshot, and veins bulged on his face. One of the 2 scars on his face suddenly disappeared. At this moment, Wang Lin could feel the cracks in his primordial spirit rapidly closing. A refreshing sensation surged through his body, relieving the pressure. Not enough. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said slowly, all right, Zheng Niu, it's been 200 years since I last used the immortal power of the nascent soul stage. For the second gift, I'll invest more. The old man laughed heartily and without hesitation, used the immortal power in his body. In an instant, a completely different kind of oppressive aura descended. This aura carried immortal energy that immediately reminded Wang Lin of the time when the fragments of the immortal realm disappeared. The heavenly power caused his body to tremble momentarily. His primordial spirit quickly healed. In just 5 breaths, the last scar on his face disappeared. In an instant, a long howl erupted from Wang Lin's mouth. His eyes flashed with brilliant light, like the sun appearing in the dark night. Spiritual power surged throughout his body. His primordial spirit, completely restored, coursed through his entire being. All sorts of sensations immediately arose, but in a flash, they transformed into a feeling of exhilaration. Wang Lin let out a long howl, his whole body trembling. Sun Tai's seal instantly vanished. His cultivation level once again recovered to the mid-stage of the transformation god realm, even surpassing his previous level. Thank you, senior, Wang Lin said sincerely, bowing. Looking at Wang Lin, the admiration in the old man's eyes grew even stronger. The old man chuckled, saying, "It's still too early to thank me now. I still have a third gift for you. Do you dare to accept it?" Wang Lin took a deep breath. At this moment, with his restored cultivation, he suddenly felt like he was standing high above, looking down upon the world. Wang Lin chuckled softly, saying, "What's there to be afraid of?" He knew in his heart that the ancestor of the soul refining sect offering so many gifts meant he needed his help. However, he couldn't imagine what kind of matter a nascent soul cultivator would need his help with. All right, Zheng Niu, the third gift from me is to help your cultivation reach the peak of the late stage of the God transformation realm. As for the realm of understanding, you must comprehend it yourself. I am unable to help with that. After saying this, the old man's body moved slightly, flying towards the blood-red circle of light. Wang Lin remained silent, following closely behind. Outside the circle of light, the old man's right hand grasped at the air. Instantly, a 3-Jiangtal soul banner reappeared. This time, it was still like an illusion, just like before. This is the most precious treasure of the soul refining sect, the 10 billion soul banner. Thanks to this treasure, even though I am only in the late stage of the nascent soul transformation realm, I dare to fight a battle against a peak-level cultivator. As for the reason, I will tell you later. You just need to remember, it is the foundation of our soul refining sect. With it, the soul refining sect is indestructible. If it is destroyed, our soul refining sect will also be destroyed. Now, I will use the inner power of the soul banner to help your cultivation increase to the late stage of the God transformation realm. The old man's eyes gleamed as he looked at Wang Lin and shouted, "Sit down cross-legged." Wang Lin glanced at the old man, but said nothing, and sat cross-legged in the air. With the opponent's cultivation level, if he wanted to fight, he wouldn't need to pretend. But the caution in Wang Lin's heart didn't disappear. If anything went wrong, he would use the star compass to escape. The 3-Jiangtal soul banner in the old man's hand trembled slightly, and immediately hissing sounds and shouts emanated from within. Immediately afterward, countless human-shaped souls flew out from the banner. 10 souls instantly scattered around Wang Lin. All 10 souls were golden with a hint of purple. Extremely arrogant. Wang Lin's pupils narrowed. These 10 souls unexpectedly possessed cultivation levels equivalent to the nascent soul stage. No wonder this soul banner can withstand a nascent soul cultivator. At this moment, Wang Lin understood a little. Little friend Zhang Niu, all the souls on this banner are nascent soul cultivators. For countless years, our soul refining sect, whenever an ancestor passed away, accepted the removal of their consciousness, becoming an unconscious soul, and offered it as a sacrifice to this soul banner. If one day I pass away, you must remember to take my soul into this banner. The old man's last words, spoken unexpectedly, shocked Wang Lin, and he felt as if he understood something. At this moment, the 10 cells of the nascent soul stage suddenly emitted a golden light. The light enveloped the entire space. A stream of spiritual power, without Wang Lin needing to absorb it, automatically diffused from the 10 souls, forming a beam of light. As soon as it touched Wang Lin, it entered his body. A strange scene unfolded in the air. The golden-purple light from the 10 souls alternately changed around Wang Lin. The spiritual power in Wang Lin's body increased dramatically, doubling in an instant. Moreover, the growth rate continued unabated, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, and even 8 times. Zhang Niu, remember, my name is Dan Tia. Absorb as much as you can. I won't be stingy. Heavenly concealment. Those 2 words echoed in Wang Lin's ears, causing his eyes to widen slightly. But at this moment, he couldn't think deeply about it. He was completely focused on feeling the surging spiritual power within his body. Spiritual power surged out from the 10 golden purple souls. Then, following the streams of light, it entered Wang Lin's body, rushing through his meridians. Wang Lin felt as if all the pores on his body were opening, expelling the last bit of impure energy. The gentle sensations were like a spring breeze, refreshing him. In an instant, Wang Lin felt the spiritual power in his body reach saturation, unable to absorb any more, except for his mental state, his cultivation, which had remained at the mid-stage of the Transformation God Realm until now, had broken through to the late stage of the Transformation God Realm. For Wang Lin, the power of his intent was already immense. Even at the mid-stage of the nascent soul realm, he could already contend with Hongdai's absolute love intent. At this moment, although his intent hadn't increased significantly, his strength had also increased due to the surge in his spiritual power. Now, even if he were to encounter Hongdai again, it would be infinitely easier than it was back then. In his eyes, Hongdai no longer posed a threat. Wang Lin blinked, gazing thoughtfully at the surrounding souls. Duntia glanced at Wang Lin, chuckled, and said, Daoist Zhang Niu, have you absorbed enough of this 3rd great gift? Wang Lin knew that Duntia giving him 3 great gifts was certainly not a simple matter. But now that he had accepted them, he couldn't refuse. Wang Lin never changed his mind halfway through. If he had decided to help, accepting the gifts wouldn't hurt. Senior, I can absorb as much as I want, right? Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he looked at the ancestor Dun Tia. That's right, I won't be stingy with this 3rd part of the grand gift. Dun Tia laughed heartily, speaking casually. Wang Lin nodded and closed his eyes. This little fellow, his spiritual power is already full. Even if he absorbs more, he can't absorb much. For some reason, Dun Tia felt uneasy when he saw Wang Lin close his eyes. My main body, let's absorb together, Wang Lin called out, his voice echoing across the distance. At this moment, in the valley outside the immortal relic land, Wang Lin's main body suddenly opened its eyes. On the main body's forehead, 2 purple dots were constantly rotating. In fact, the main body and the clone didn't have a master-subordinate relationship. The clone was Wang Lin, and the main body was also Wang Lin. One splits into 2, and when the 2 merge into 1, that is the true Wang Lin. Through a strange connection, similar to the year when Wang Lin's clone's cultivation was crippled and his primordial spirit shattered, causing his main body to be severely injured. The powerful spiritual energy transferred from Wang Lin's clone was now being frantically absorbed by his main body through some kind of guidance. The main body's absorption was countless times stronger than that of the clone. After all, he cultivated the ancient god technique, and ancient gods inherently rely on devouring spiritual energy to survive. The 10 souls surrounding Wang Lin trembled instantly. A powerful suction force emanated from Wang Lin's body. Immediately afterward, the light from the 10 souls suddenly increased several times in size. Spiritual energy surged in an instant, pouring into Wang Lin's body. This was a change. Initially, the golden souls absorbed spiritual energy into Wang Lin's body, but now, Wang Lin was actively devouring it. This transformation caused the two heaven-dwelling demons to widen their eyes in shock. Their facial muscles twitched, revealing their anguish. 10 breaths, just 10 breaths, and half of the spiritual power of the 10 souls had been absorbed. Dun Tian's expression was extremely grim. He wanted to intervene, but remembering his earlier words, he sighed inwardly. With his cultivation, he could obviously tell that Zhang Niu had another clone. At this moment, he was absorbing spiritual power along with the clone. Meanwhile, Wang Lin's main body in Chu Kingdom was enveloped in a dense aura of spiritual power. Slowly, a ray of light emanated from his body, forming countless threads that slowly wrapped around him. A large, shimmering cocoon, like glass, suddenly appeared. The main body sat cross-legged inside the cocoon, a star slowly appearing on his forehead. Wang Lin wasn't someone with insatiable greed. At this moment, he opened his eyes wide and stopped absorbing. Dun Tia breathed a sigh of relief, waving the large flag in his right hand. The 10 souls instantly vanished. Dun Tia smiled wryly, looked at Wang Lin, and shook his head, saying, "Little friend Zhang Niu, you're truly impolite." Wang Lin's eyes brightened, and he stood up. After sensing the immense spiritual power in his body, he turned his head to look towards the Snow Domain Kingdom, his eyes flashing with cold light. Wang Lin's personality was somewhat extreme. "If you don't bother me, I won't bother you. But if you do, I will repay you tenfold, even 100-fold. Li Yuan Feng." Wang Lin's eyes returned to normal. He turned to look at Dun Tia, clasped his hands respectfully and said, "Thank you for your great kindness, Senior. If there is anything, please feel free to ask. This junior will do his best to fulfill it." Given Wang Lin's temperament, his words clearly showed his immense gratitude to Dun Tia. Dun Tia smiled, his previous resentment disappearing. He had done all those things only because of this one sentence from the other party. "Young friend Zhang Niu, I gave you those 3 gifts because I had a very important plan in mind. Originally, if you hadn't come to the soul refining sect, I would have gone out to find you." Wang Lin looked at Dun Tia and smiled, saying, "Previously, I heard rumors that I killed a nascent soul cultivator from the soul refining sect. Perhaps that's why you wanted to question me." Dun Tia shook his head and smiled. "That was just a rumor to cover up the truth. If I went to find you without any reason, it would inevitably attract attention. That's why I spread the rumor that you killed a nascent soul cultivator from our soul refining sect. From there, I had a reason to find you without attracting too much attention." A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. If the other party was so cautious, there must be something unpredictable going on. Dun Tia looked at Wang Lin, his eyes showing clear admiration. After a moment, the old man took a deep breath and said slowly, "Little friend Zhang Niu, you know that the Vermilion Bird Kingdom has occupied Vermilion Bird Star for countless years. But why is it that there are still fewer than 10 5th-level cultivation nations?" He didn't wait for Wang Lin to answer. His eyes seemed to recall something, and he continued, "Back then, when the Vermilion Bird Kingdom arrived on Vermilion Bird Star, there were 6 sects within the kingdom. Later, the disciples of the 6 sects dispersed, forming a cultivation world on Vermilion Bird Star. At the same time, they also brought gifts to the 6 sects, and then allowed the core disciples of the 6 sects to establish their own kingdoms, granting them 5th-level status. Those were the first 5th-level cultivation nations. Our soul refining sect was also one of them." Wang Lin's expression remained calm. Dun Tia looked up at the sky and calmly said, "The situation has changed." Years passed, and countless years later, whenever a 5th-level cultivation nation was about to break through, it would be defeated and forced back to square one. The Vermilion Bird Kingdom would not allow a second 6th-level cultivation nation to appear on Vermilion Bird Star. Over countless years, the soul refining sect had 3 opportunities to reach the 6th level, but each time it was destroyed. Today, it has lost its entire nation, becoming nothing more than a sect. Wang Lin fell silent. Becoming a 6th-level cultivation nation was the first dream of our soul refining sect, and later, it became the dream of everyone in the soul refining sect. Many years ago, there were no cultivators on Vermilion Bird Star. Vermilion Bird Nation on the 4 sacred stars was only a 5th-level cultivation nation. With the concerted efforts of the 6 major sects in the country, after countless years of hard work, it successfully became a 6th-level nation. breaking free from the constraints of the four sacred stars. Back then, the soul refining sect had 3 peak-level cultivators, and the other 5 sects also had several peak-level cultivators. Why did Vermilion Bird Nation become so powerful back then? Unfortunately, after arriving on Vermilion Bird Star, it wasn't a peaceful place. There was a strange race here. They were skilled in using rune power and were very powerful. After countless battles and years of struggle, our 10 billion venerable soul banner of the soul refining sect finally reached completion. Ultimately, although we won, the Vermilion Bird Star was severely damaged. The strength of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom was greatly diminished. Many peak-level cultivators perished. Because of this, the 6 sects became 6 fifth-level cultivation nations. Afterward, the Vermilion Bird Kingdom took control of the Vermilion Bird Star, establishing Vermilion Bird Mountain in its center to control the entire planet. From then on, it became a nightmare for all 5th-level cultivation nations. History shows that the Vermilion Bird Kingdom prevented any 5th-level cultivation nation from attempting to advance to the 6th level. Because at that time, the Vermilion Bird Kingdom had not yet recovered from the Great War. Heh. How could the entire Vermilion Bird Kingdom be so weak with only 4 peak-level cultivators? They feared that the 5th-level cultivation nation would turn against them, and that the Vermilion Bird Star would not be able to hold on. Wang Lin thought for a moment and said, "Senior, according to what you said, what is the relationship between you and me? After all, I am only a nascent soul cultivator." Dun Tian's eyes widened slightly as he looked at Wang Lin, emphasizing each word. There is a relationship. Ah. Wang Lin looked up at Dun Tia. You are one of the 4 heirs of the Vermilion Bird Star chosen by Yan Quezi, Dun Tia said slowly. Yan Quezi. Wang Lin raised his eyebrows. Dun Tia flicked his right hand, and an object appeared in his hand. It was a statue of a handsome and dashing man, his eyes sparkling with spirit. It's him. Wang Lin was stunned, his expression strange. The wooden statue was one he had carved for that slovenly old man years ago. The old man's cultivation was extraordinary. Wang Lin had always been skeptical back then, but now he finally had the answer. He is Yan Q, the junior disciple of GQ, Dun Tia said, looking at the wooden statue and sighing. This wooden statue is the likeness of Yan Q. You gave me 3 portions of the grand gift for that reason. Wang Lin's expression grew even more peculiar. There is a part of it. Dun Tia tilted his head, his eyes blinking. Although Yan Quezi personally imparted his thoughts to me, if I don't like it, I'll send you off after helping you with 2 grand gifts. Dun Tia stared intently at Wang Lin, the strangeness in his eyes growing increasingly intense. Zheng Yu is fine. Wang Lin is also fine. Young friend. Since our soul refining sect arrived here, we have had a total of 36 nascent soul cultivators. Their souls are all contained within soul banners. I am the 37th. My senior brother is the 36th. Wang Lin's expression changed, and he looked up at the 2 blood red circles of light not far away. Young friend, no need to look. My senior brother died 2 years ago. But this matter is unknown even on the entire Vermilion Bird Star, not even to the Vermilion Bird itself, Dun Tia said slowly. Wang Lin fell silent again. Young friend, I ask you something. Are you willing to join my soul refining sect and become the next successor? If so, you must swear to one day make our soul refining sect a 6th level cultivation nation. The strangeness in Dun Tian's eyes intensified as he stared at Wang Lin, speaking each word distinctly. Why me? Wang Lin didn't answer immediately, but instead asked a question in return. Young friend Zheng Niu, my senior brother's intent doesn't contain any offensive elements, yet his intent is unique on the Vermilion Bird Star. Even on other cultivation stars, it's extremely rare. Dun Tian's eyes held a look of reverence. His intent is foresight. Originally, he had 100 years of lifespan remaining. But 2 years ago, my senior brother chose to forego his lifespan and use the divine power of his intent to find a new path for our soul refining sect. Unfortunately, it ultimately failed. Wang Lin raised his eyebrows, waiting for the other party to state his purpose. If the other party mentioned that his senior brother had calculated the future of the soul refining sect or something else, Wang Lin wouldn't believe it. Dun Tian's eyes gleamed, looking at Wang Lin with a hint of madness, and said, although my senior brother failed. You arrived outside our soul refining sect precisely at the moment of his death. Wang Lin was stunned. This must just be a coincidence. Perhaps it's because I'm stubbornly clinging to my beliefs. But my lifespan is nearing its end, and I can't wait any longer. I can only gamble once, gambling that my senior brother's realm of intent didn't truly fail, but rather brought you here. Dantian's eyes held a hint of anguish. In his heart, he knew it was all just self-deception. For now, the soul-refining sect has no successor. Although I possess the soul banner, I'm not afraid of the vermilion bird coming here. Even if he comes, I dare to fight him, even if it means sacrificing myself. But if that happens, everything will be over. The soul banner will surely be taken by the vermilion bird. And without the soul banner, the soul-refining sect will surely perish. Wang Lin pondered for a moment, then looked up and said, "If I agree, will you give me your soul banner?" Dantia nodded and said, "My lifespan is nearing its end. At that time, the soul banner will be yours." As 6th level cultivation nation, Wang Lin shook his head, giving a bitter smile. "With my cultivation level, this is too difficult." Dantia sighed and said, "Then Neo, I only have 10 years left to live. During those 10 years, I will protect you and keep you safe. After 10 years, everything will depend on you. Whether you succeed or not, remember my words. Remember, our soul-refining sect has no ill intentions or malice towards you. On the contrary, we're giving you a soul banner." Wang Lin thought for a moment, then nodded and said, "I will do my best." Dan Tian's eyes lit up as he smiled at Wang Lin. He potted his storage bag with his right hand, and a jade slip flew out towards Wang Lin. Our soul-refining sect doesn't have many formalities. This jade slip contains the method of soul locking. This technique is also the technique for controlling the 10 billion soul banner. It's the most important technique of our soul-refining sect. From today onwards, you are the only core disciple of our soul-refining sect. Wang Lin took the jade slip. After scanning it with his divine consciousness, he put it back into his storage bag. For this matter, I want to go into seclusion for a while. To prepare for the soul entering the soul banner 10 years from now, you should not leave the soul-refining sect more than 1,000 miles. Otherwise, if disaster strikes, I won't be able to arrive in time, Deng Chia said in a low voice. Wang Lin smiled and said, "It's all right. If I couldn't even protect myself, I wouldn't have lived to see this day. Senior, you are in seclusion. I still have some personal matters to attend to. After I've finished, I will definitely return to the soul-refining sect before you come out of seclusion." Deng Tia glanced at Wang Lin, pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, "If you've made your decision, I won't say anything more. You may go." As he spoke, his body moved, transforming into a rainbow and disappearing into a blood-red light. Wang Lin respectfully clasped his hands, then turned and disappeared, leaving the soul-refining sect. In the darkness, Wang Lin was like a shooting star gliding through the sky, his long hair fluttering in the wind. A glint of light occasionally flashed in his eyes. Wang Lin didn't believe everything Deng Chia said. After all, Wang Lin wasn't a newcomer to the cultivation world, so he didn't believe in such miraculous encounters. With his age, he had accumulated a great deal of experience. But the truth couldn't be determined right now. He'd know later whether Deng Tia would give him the soul banner or not. Li Yuanfeng. A murderous glint flashed in his eyes, and his speed increased even further. 2 years. It had nearly cost Wang Lin his life, his cultivation plummeting by 1,000 feet. At this moment, the first thing he would do after his cultivation recovered was to kill Li Yuanfeng. He's trying to reach the nascent soul stage. Li Yuanfeng is arguably one of the weakest nascent soul cultivators. I've already reached the 3-star ancient god stage. After I merge with him, I can fight him. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and he quickly disappeared into the night. 1 month later, outside the mountain valley of Chu Kingdom, Chu Aryu was playing with Little White. She knelt on the ground, playing with it. Tai Yin sat cross-legged beside her. His cultivation was close to reaching the nascent soul stage. In recent days, he had gained much insight. Suddenly, the frog opened its eyes wide and looked towards the outside of the mountain valley. A young man in white robes was smiling as he slowly walked in. The pagoda had the aura of the nascent soul stage, but it didn't affect him at all. Chu Aryu rubbed her eyes, immediately cheered, jumped down from Little White, and ran towards Wang Lin, happily saying, "Uncle, uncle." Wang Lin laughed heartily, embracing little Chu Aryu, his gaze fixed on Taiyan. At this moment, Taiyan also stood up and respectfully said, "Greetings, benefactor." "Taiyan, you're about to reach the nascent soul stage. Go to the capital and find a home to contemplate life. In just 3 more years, you will definitely reach the nascent soul stage," Wang Lin said. Taiyan's expression was neither happy nor sad, but his hands trembled slightly as he said, "Is that really true?" "All right." He glanced at Chu Aryu, then looked around. After gritting his teeth, he moved and disappeared. "Uncle, where's the tiger? You promised me a tiger at first, didn't you?" Chu Aryu asked, hugging Wang Lin. Little White's ears were still perked up. Hearing this was like a hammer blow to the chest. It thought to itself, with a new tiger, its life could finally be more peaceful. Thinking of a better future, and remembering the female tigers, Little White felt very anxious. A tiger? Wang Lin touched his nose. He had indeed forgotten about this, because he had met too many people this time. Chu Aryu opened her small mouth and said, "Uncle, you said you wouldn't forget when you left, didn't you?" Hearing this, Little White's eyes darkened, and the impatience in its heart vanished like smoke. It inwardly sighed, lamenting its unfortunate fate. Wang Lin smiled wryly, patted Churu's head, and said, "All right. This time, Uncle will take you to a place when he returns. Then, he'll catch a tiger for you." Churu's temperament was still that of a child. After hearing about leaving this place, it felt happy and said, "Where are we going?" "Uncle, are you taking me out to play?" "Uncle is going to find an old acquaintance," Wang Lin said, a flash of killing intent in his eyes. Little White's body trembled slightly. Hope surged in its heart again, even greater than before. It thought to itself, "If you to leave, I'll be free." Thinking this, it became even more excited. "Little Aryu, go inside the pagoda. This time we're going a bit far. You won't be exposed to the wind inside the pagoda." "Be good," Wang Lin said. Chu Aryu obediently nodded, her eyes filled with excitement. She was overjoyed at the prospect of going outside. "Little White, come with me." Little White roared, its hopes dashed once again. It turned its head, gazing wistfully at the distant forest, where several tigresses were waiting. Finally, Chu Aryu patted it a few times before entering the pagoda with her. Wang Lin formed a hand seal and pointed at the pagoda. Instantly, the pagoda shrank and flew into his hand. After doing so, Wang Lin took a deep breath. He lightly tapped the ground with his right foot, and a powerful force immediately erupted from the earth. At the same time, the main body seated in the cocoon opened its eyes and emerged. On its forehead, 3 purple dots rotated, emitting eerie light. The main body appeared before Wang Lin. The two glanced at each other, then instantly merged into one person. This was the real Wang Lin. The main body cultivated the physical body, while the clone cultivated within. A breath from the primordial era slowly emanated from his body. At this moment, the heavens and earth changed color. Thunder and lightning rumbled in the sky, and large raindrops fell to the ground with a pattering sound. Standing in the rain, Wang Lin resembled a statue of a demon god, gazing towards the Snow Domain Kingdom. Li Yuanfeng of the Snow Domain Kingdom, the ancestor of the giant demon clan, and even Suntide dared to take advantage of the opportunity to seal me. This time, with my cultivation restored, you will no longer have peace. I, Wang, will definitely seek revenge on you. The first person I want to take revenge on is Li Yuanfeng. Let's see if you, as a nascent soul cultivator, are more powerful, or if my main body and clone, merged together, are more powerful. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He pointed his right hand at his forehead, and the heaven-defying pearl slowly floated out. He lightly tapped his storage pouch, and instantly a crystal flashed and appeared in his hand. That object was the wood spirit fragment that Wang Lin had seized from the elder of Vermilion Bird Mountain during his battle with Hong Dai years ago. According to Sichu Nan, after the 5 elements were perfected, the pearl could recognize its master and unleash its strongest power. Wang Lin held the wood spirit crystal in his hand and flicked it towards the heaven-defying pearl. The moment the two touched, the wood spirit crystal was tucked inside. In an instant, the leaves on the heaven-defying pearl transformed. Countless leaves appeared, reaching the perfect state. Only the golden spirit is left. Wang Lin blinked his eyes and muttered to himself as he looked towards the Snow Domain Kingdom. Let's put the golden spirit aside for now. Li Yuanfeng, Wang Lin is coming. He retrieved the heaven-defying pearl and jumped onto the frog's head, laughing, "Old friend, let's go." The frog let out a joyful croak. It stomped its foot, and countless cracks appeared in the ground. The frog, like a shooting star, instantly soared into the sky. Wang Lin smiled and patted his storage bag. The spirit beast flew out. As soon as it appeared, it let out a shriek, extended its trunk, and lunged at the frog. The frog's eyes rolled back, and it tilted its head to the side, playfully teasing the spirit beast. Wang Lin sat on the frog's back, watching the two beasts play, and smiled. He looked up towards the Snow Domain Kingdom, his smile remaining but now completely cold. Snow Abyss Kingdom. Its original location was once the site of the Four-Sex Alliance. At this moment, everything is covered in a blanket of white snow. Sunlight shines down, reflecting dazzling rays. Looking at it for too long can cause eye pain, and blindness is a common occurrence. The people of Snow Abyss Kingdom possess an artifact to protect their eyes. After Snow Abyss Kingdom ascended to the 5th level, the landscape gradually became more prosperous. In the center of Snow Abyss Kingdom stands the Ice and Snow Divine Temple. This is the sacred land of Snow Abyss Kingdom, and also the place where the only nascent soul stage cultivator of Snow Abyss Kingdom frequently goes into seclusion. After being injured by Sun Tai's lightning, Li Yuanfeng's injuries have gradually healed. After all, his cultivation level was forcibly increased to the nascent soul stage. Not dropping a level after that incident was already quite good. In the Ice and Snow Divine Palace, several large blocks of ice, emitting wisps of immortal energy, surrounded Li Yuanfeng. These were still insufficient to heal his wounds. For the past 2 years, he had repeatedly sent people to Vermilion Bird Mountain to contact Han Dai, hoping to obtain some immortal jade for his treatment. Each time, however, he was refused at the door. This puzzled Li Yuanfeng, leading him to speculate and harbor a degree of resentment. After all, his injuries were caused by Zheng Niu, and ultimately, it was all because of Han Dai. Over the course of 2 years, his injuries gradually lessened. He estimated it would take another year for him to fully recover. One day, at the border of the Snow Domain Kingdom, a young man in white robes slowly entered. He gazed at the scenery of the Snow Domain Kingdom, lost in thought. The capital of the Snow Domain Kingdom was the former capital of the Four-Sex Alliance. There was a crossroads there, bearing the indelible mark of Wang Lin. Today, at that crossroads, Wang Lin appeared. He looked at the familiar scene and remembered 3 generations of the Dong Niu family. After a long while, a hint of sadness appeared in his eyes as he walked away. Inside the Ice and Snow Divine Palace, Li Yuanfeng, who had been sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. A glint of light flashed in his eyes as he looked out of the palace. Li Yuanfeng, outside the palace, a cold wind howled, carrying snowflakes. A figure slowly approached amidst the snowflakes. The figure became clearer and clearer, finally reaching the palace entrance. At this moment, it was clear that it was Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were cold and calm as he looked into the great hall. His gaze filled Li Yuanfeng with dread. Li Yuanfeng stared at Wang Lin and said, "Zheng Niu." His expression remained composed, but inwardly he was filled with fear. No matter what, he never expected that Zheng Niu, injured by his intent, could recover in just 2 short years. He had even broken through to the late stage of the transformation god realm. 2 years is nothing more than a blink of an eye for cultivators. How could Li Yuanfeng not be afraid of the fact that the other party could do that? Just then, several figures quickly appeared in the main hall, standing between Li Yuanfeng and Wang Lin. These 3 included 2 men and 1 woman. "How dare you? You dare to trespass into the Ice and Snow Divine Temple of our Snow Domain Kingdom!" One of them shouted. Zheng Niu, the old man's eyes coldly glared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained icy, and he stomped his foot. A loud explosion resounded. From Wang Lin's feet, countless cracks spread outwards, instantly extending to the main hall. "Break!" Wang Lin softly shouted. A deafening roar erupted, and half of the towers in the palace turned to dust. The 3 old men's expressions changed, their bodies pushed back by a powerful force. One of them, unable to believe his eyes, stared at Wang Lin and cried out in disbelief, "Could it be that you've reached the nascent soul stage?" Wang Lin still paid no attention to the 3 of them. His gaze remained fixed on Li Yuanfeng. With a swift movement, he darted towards the opponent like a flash of lightning, The three old men shouted, instantly appearing in front of Wang Lin, trying to stop him. At this moment, Wang Lin's eyes flashed with cold light, and he slowly stepped forward. In an instant, he appeared in front of one of them. He swung his right hand, delivering a punch directly to the man's chest. Thump! The old man's chest caved in deeply, and he spat out fresh blood. His body was like a shooting star, flying away, his breath gone. Even his nascent soul was shattered by the punch. This was the power after the main body and the clone merged. With just one punch, a mid-stage nascent soul cultivator died. The other two, terrified, stopped in their tracks. Wang Lin ignored them and continued towards Li Yuanfeng. Li Yuanfeng's expression was grim. He formed a hand seal and pointed at the 8 large ice blocks surrounding him. Instantly, the 8 ice blocks moved, enveloping him and forming a protective net. Wang Lin snorted coldly and punched directly at the ice blocks. Boom! Several loud noises echoed throughout half of the snow domain. The ice surrounding Li Yuanfeng's body cracked and shattered, scattering fragments in all directions. The flying ice shards caused half of the ice and snow divine palace to collapse. Li Yuanfeng suddenly flew out from the rubble, standing in midair. His long hair fluttered even without wind. Li Yuanfeng stared at Wang Lin and shouted, "Zheng Yu. Today, you're definitely going to die." Wang Lin looked at Li Yuanfeng and said, "Today, I want to capture you to refine your soul." Li Yuanfeng clasped his hands together, then suddenly pointed forward. Instantly, a massive object appeared before him. He let out a loud shout and pushed forcefully forward. The object quickly descended towards Wang Lin. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and he clenched his right hand, punching directly at the object. As it fell from above, it shattered. Li Yuanfeng's body felt as if it had been struck by an extremely powerful force, and he was suddenly thrown back 10 meters. His face turned grim, and he was filled with immense fear. Wang Lin took 3 steps forward. With each step, countless cracks appeared in the ground beneath his feet. The initial battle between the two attracted the attention of the snow domain cultivators. In the snow domain, not counting the old man who had just died along with the 2 present, 17 nascent soul cultivators quickly rushed from all directions. To them, Li Yuanfeng was the sect master of the snow domain. With him, the snow domain was a 5th-tier cultivator. Once he died, if the snow domain couldn't produce a nascent soul cultivator in a short time, it would certainly be downgraded. Almost instantly, all the nascent soul cultivators arrived. But the one who appeared, without a word, quickly drew out his magic weapon, preparing to attack. Wang Lin's eyes remained calm, and from his mouth he uttered a single word, "Transform." The word, initially weak, instantly transformed into a thunderclap like a spring thunderstorm, erupting into countless resounding echoes. Transform, transform, transform. Transform, a deafening roar echoed around. That was the roar of the ancient god, the wrath of the ancient god. For the first time, the ancient god roared with all his might. The clouds in the sky quickly vanished. Countless spatial cracks suddenly appeared. The ground at this moment seemed to be torn apart by a pair of giant hands, like tearing a piece of paper, emitting a series of explosions. In an instant, bottomless fissures appeared. The nascent soul cultivators who were preparing to attack were struck by a powerful energy. In a flash, they all spat out fresh blood and quickly retreated. Their faces were filled with terror, not daring to attack again. A single word of display of power. Wang Lin took a deep breath. The fusion of his clone and main body had produced a mutation. This mutation had never been seen before in ancient times. At this moment, it could be said that he was a cultivator at the late stage of the nascent soul realm, possessing the life and death concept, combined with a 3-star ancient god body. Or it could be said that he possessed a 3-star ancient god body, held the life and death concept, and had the divine abilities of a late-stage nascent soul cultivator. Li Yuanfeng's expression was extremely unpleasant. He stared intently at Wang Lin. For the first time, he officially considered the other party a rival. The shout he had just let out was no less powerful than that of a nascent soul cultivator. Li Yuanfeng took a deep breath and said slowly, "Zheng Yu. The battle between you and me shouldn't involve others. You all retreat. Get 1,000 miles away from here. Don't come back in. The nascent soul cultivators of the Snow Region Kingdom have all left." They arrived arrogant and boastful, but left terrified, 2 completely contrasting scenes. A single word of arrogance could be equivalent to a nascent soul cultivator. Wang Lin moved slightly, lightly stamping his foot and flying into the air. His hand pointed towards Li Yuanfeng, throwing a punch. The punch hadn't reached its target yet, but a whistling sound had already erupted in the air. Li Yuanfeng, the matter from 2 years ago. Today we end it here. Wang Lin shouted coldly. In an instant, he appeared before Li Yuanfeng, his fist slamming down with a thunderous roar. Li Yuanfeng's gaze was gloomy as he quickly retreated. He potted his storage bag with his right hand. Instantly, a small drum appeared in midair. He lightly tapped it, and the drum immediately emitted a thumping sound. However, the sound was extremely strange, not at all like a drum. Yet, it made his heart pound. Wang Lin immediately felt his heart being agitated, trembling violently. His expression remained unchanged, but his eyes were icy cold. He snorted softly and continued to strike with his right fist. Li Yuanfeng's expression changed. The drum's sound became even louder and faster. Wang Lin let out a low growl. His heart pounded, but he quickly unleashed a punch at the drum. LS Nguyen Fong Non Chang BT Engdekle. Kai Trung Nachvivan, Hoathan Tra By Ma Tiu Tan. SCC MTV Bung Lim Vien Lan Ling, Sai Via Fia Terchak. LS Nguyen Fong. K La Thuk Luk Can Bin K Hay Sao. Vibung Lam Via Bam Theo Via Noyam Tikash Lan Not. LS Nguyen Fong Non Vibung Lam Chum Chum. Hingi GM Na MT Ting, Hai Te BT Quait J Terchak Engek. Enthi Ti Myong Hin Fun Ra MT TIA Sang. TIA Sang Trong Ne MT Hoathan MT Gi Bang Kyun LS Kao Chung Ji Trong. Then the LS Nguyen Fong Thong Yang Bit MTT Trong Bang Tuite. Gi Kyun LS Head LN MT Ting. Then Vang Vin Chin Tang Tugi, Tryon Razung Quan. And MT Vibum Lam Sung Lei. Han Diang Cia Gi Kyun LS Kung VVI Fap Boma En Chiam Kohan Hype SP Dong Kung Hon Ton Jun Now. Chikokai Hu La Hai Nach Hun. Gi Kyun LS Gi GM Arc BG's Evia Fia Vibung Lam. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. The immense power of the ancient god's body had only failed against the messenger of the heavenly Tao. At this moment, facing the giant, Wang Lin laughed loudly and swiftly launched an attack. The sound of fists clashing echoed continuously. The ground beneath their feet quickly shattered. Spatial cracks appeared in the sky in ever-increasing numbers. With each punch, Wang Lin's gaze grew colder. The powerful body of the three-star ancient god had reached an unbelievable level. He didn't even feel any pain. Each punch only caused a slight sting. In contrast, Li Yuanfeng transformed into an ice man, had his body crack after each punch, causing him to roar in anger and retreat continuously. The further Li Yuanfeng retreated, the more his body shattered. Shatter! With a shout from Wang Lin, his right hand unleashed a powerful blow, striking the giant's chest. The giant's entire body emitted cracking sounds, chunks of ice falling and finally shattering. Li Yuanfeng spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His eyes blazed red as he glared at Wang Lin, shouting, "Zheng Yu! If it weren't for my unhealed injuries, how could I tolerate your humiliation? All right. Today, even if my cultivation level decreases, I will kill you." The divine abilities of a nascent soul cultivator, besides their intent, are also based on immortal power. Li Yuanfeng's eyes darkened, his hands forming a hand seal. Instantly, a strange force surged from his body. Countless tea leaves appeared around him. Each leaf was transparent and sparkling, emitting a peculiar fragrance. The intent materialized. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. Facing Li Yuanfeng's tea silver intent, a thought flashed through his mind. Nascent soul cultivators can make their intent materialize into a physical entity. At this moment, as Li Yuanfeng's mental attack struck, he had the answer. In fact, seeking out Li Yuanfeng for a fight to take revenge was the main purpose. But there was another reason. Wang Lin was preparing for his own transformation stage. At this level of cultivation, comprehending the heavenly Tao was one of the methods. But fighting against a transformation stage cultivator also gave him many insights. Besides those things, there was another reason. And this reason was also one of the main reasons why Wang Lin came to the Snow Region Kingdom. It was related to Siju Nan's arm. Gazing intently at Li Yuanfeng's T-silver mental attack, Wang Lin took a deep breath. The primordial spirit in the ancient god's body immediately dispersed, communicating with heaven and earth. At that moment, the sky, which had been sealed by Li Yuanfeng, seemed to be torn apart by an invisible hand, creating a hole. Countless gray rays emerged from the hole. The gray rays multiplied, eventually occupying more than half the sky, forming an enormous scroll. Life and Death Reincarnation. The combination of the clone and the main body. I wonder if this will cause the artistic conception to mutate. Wang Lin thought of the scene where the main body and clone combined when facing the heavenly Tao of reincarnation. A realization dawned on him. Suddenly, 3 purple points of light on his forehead automatically merged and then disappeared, leaving only a single point of light. Immediately, a gigantic figure slowly appeared behind him. The figure's head touched the sky, its feet firmly planted on the earth. After appearing, it reached out and grasped the scroll of life and death reincarnation, then unfolded it. This bizarre scene left Li Yuanfeng wide-eyed and speechless. Although he knew Zhang Niu's artistic conception was life and death, seeing this colossal phantom, his heart couldn't help but tremble. What kind of artistic conception is this? Wang Lin took a deep breath. Unexpectedly, the ancient god's illusory realm could combine with the intent of the clone realm. His thoughts stirred, and his right hand pointed towards Li Yuanfeng. The scroll in his hand, the enormous illusory figure in the sky, trembled slightly. Instantly, a gray mist diffused from it, forming an illusion identical to the heavenly Tao messenger. The illusion's face was indistinct, its entire body composed of gray mist. After appearing, it descended, flying towards Li Yuanfeng. The feeling of being pursued by Sun Tai's immortal lightning years ago resurfaced. Without hesitation, he shouted, "Tea Realm." Instantly, each tea leaf around him rapidly grew, forming swirling tea blossoms. The strange fragrance intensified. The illusion, condensed from the gray mist, arrived and quickly collided with the tea blossoms. In an instant, the illusion vanished without a sound, but the tea leaves disappeared as well. The entire process happened in the blink of an eye. In an instant, countless tea leaves surrounding Li Yuanfeng's body completely vanished, as if they had never existed. At the same time, Wang Lin's primordial spirit felt weakened, as if struck by some force. The painting of the cycle of life and death in the sky quickly disappeared. Even the illusory image slowly faded away. Li Yuanfeng's face turned pale. His body swayed, and he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. You are not a late-stage nascent soul cultivator. Your realm has reached the nascent soul stage. Li Yuanfeng stared at Wang Lin, his face pale, but his eyes were like those of a madman. Immortal power. Li Yuanfeng tried to suppress the wounds in his body while mobilizing immortal power. A crystal of immortal power slowly appeared in his hand. Then a trace of immortal power in his body began to rapidly activate. The ability to absorb and use immortal power was typical of the nascent soul stage. At this moment, all the immortal power in Li Yuanfeng's body was mobilized. A wave of oppressive power quickly emanated from his body. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged. He potted his storage bag with his right hand. Instantly, a soul banner appeared in his hand. The soul banner trembled slightly, and countless souls screamed and flew out, forming streams of black energy in front of him. At the same time, a Forbidden's banner appeared in his hand. After activating it, it unleashed Forbidden's energy. At this moment, from afar, Wang Lin's body was enveloped in a black smoke like a whirlwind. Li Yuanfeng stared at Wang Lin, grinning. He made hand gestures, and instantly countless small, fist-sized ice spheres appeared around him. This was the simplest spell of the snow region cultivators that everyone knew. But at this moment, within these ice spheres lay the power to destroy heaven and earth. Zhang Niu, accept your death! Li Yuanfeng shouted, pushing his hands forward forcefully. Suddenly, the ice spheres vibrated and rushed towards Wang Lin. Each time his soul and Forbidden's energy touched an ice sphere, they quickly turned into green smoke. Wang Lin's eyes flickered. He could sense that each ice sphere contained immortal power, though the quantity was very small. A cloud of black mist surged out. He let out a low growl, his right fist colliding with the ice spheres. Boom, boom, crash. A deafening explosion shook the entire Snow Domain Kingdom, reverberating throughout its neighboring countries. The ground of the Snow Domain Kingdom quickly shattered, and the thick layer of ice and snow continuously collapsed. Wang Lin quickly retreated, his right arm trembling slightly. A wisp of cold smoke enveloped his fist, but it vanished in an instant. If I reach the transformation stage, I can control immortal power. With the addition of immortal power to the soul banner, the power of my soul will undoubtedly increase significantly. Similarly, if the Forbidden's artifacts of the Forbidden's realm were imbued with immortal power, both types of magical treasures would undoubtedly become much stronger than before. Even if the immortal sword were imbued with immortal power, its power would surely reach a terrifying level. Never before had Wang Lin desired to reach the nascent soul stage so much. A light flashed in his eyes. Zhang Niu, die for me. Li Yuanfeng's eyes bulged, veins popping out, making his face even more ferocious. However, his body trembled, showing signs of depleted immortal power. After all, he hadn't cultivated to the nascent soul stage on his own, but had forced it. Therefore, the immortal power in his body was still too little. In the blink of an eye after Wang Lin returned, the remaining ice spheres whizzed towards him, launching a series of attacks. Bang, bang! The ice spheres struck Wang Lin's fists as they approached. But their sheer number was overwhelming, and the layered attacks produced earth-shattering explosions. The ground of the snow domain was now riddled with countless cracks. Li Yuanfeng's face was ferocious as he roared, Zhang Niu, die. Under the bombardment of the ice spheres, which struck like meteors, a deep and wide crater appeared in the ground. A wisp of green smoke rose from the crater and was dispersed by the wind. However, Li Yuanfeng's expression, far from relaxed, grew even more somber. Your transformation technique is truly miraculous. However, the immortal power within your ice sphere is too little, a cold voice echoed from the depths of the pit. Immediately afterward, Wang Lin's figure slowly emerged from the pit. His clothes were tattered, but his eyes shone brightly. Li Yuanfeng's expression grew even more grim. He stared intently at Wang Lin, then gritted his teeth and patted his storage bag. Instantly, a pair of bronze bells appeared. He bit his tongue and spat some immortal blood onto the bells. Wang Lin recognized them immediately. They were the same magical artifacts that Sichuan had conjured up that fifth time. His eyes blinked repeatedly. Li Yuanfeng clasped his hands together and shouted. The two bells instantly grew enormous. The symbols on their surfaces flashed continuously as they absorbed all of Li Yuanfeng's immortal blood. Instantly, a crack appeared on the bells. In a flash, two withered arms emerged. A thick, dark mist emanated from his two arms, carrying a chilling aura that quickly spread outwards. Li Yuanfeng's face was ferocious, his eyes bloodshot, like those of a madman. These two bells were his last remaining magical artifacts. For years, he had been using his nascent soul to refine them, only now able to control them naturally. Release! Li Yuanfeng roared, pointing his right hand towards Wang Lin. Instantly, the black mist on his withered arms surged, transforming into two figures in a flash. Their faces were indistinct. At this moment, both moved simultaneously, one to the right, one to the left, lunging towards Wang Lin. Before they even reached him, a chilling aura had already enveloped him. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He snorted coldly. Previously, his cultivation was at the mid-stage of the transformation god realm, and before he had merged with his true form, he was no match for these one-armed black figures. But now, he showed no fear, proactively charging forward and throwing the punches. Bang, bang, two explosions rang out, and simultaneously, the two figures formed from the black mist groaned a few times. The black mist seemed to be blown away by a gust of wind, dispersing to reveal two armless figures. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and he made hand gestures, pointing forward. Instantly, two streams of spiritual power flew out, landing on the two figures. Seal! Wang Lin whispered. Two banners vibrated, forming two layers of mist, one black and one purple, enveloping the two figures. At the same time, Wang Lin patted his storage bag, and two bells flew out. He pointed his finger, and they instantly grew enormous, descending from above to capture the two figures. Everything happened in an instant. Li Yuanfeng's face turned pale, and without a word, he turned and fled. But how could Wang Lin let him escape? His body moved swiftly, and with the speed of an ancient god's body, he rushed to Li Yuanfeng's side. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and he unleashed a punch with his right hand. Boom! Li Yuanfeng spat out fresh blood, his body shooting like a meteor into the distance. Wang Lin took another step, instantly appearing above Li Yuanfeng. He roared, and his fist descended once more. At this moment, Li Yuanfeng spat out another mouthful of blood, plummeting from the sky to the ground. Immediately, the ground within 100-foot radius around him sank into a deep pit. Li Yuanfeng spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes darkened, yet a malevolent glint remained. "Even if I die, I will drag you down with me." Li Yuanfeng roared, his eyes bloodshot, a destructive aura emanating from his body. Self-destruction, transformation stage. Li Yuanfeng. "Even if you self-destruct, I can escape by simply opening a spatial rift. But the entire Snow Domain Kingdom will be buried with you. You will find someone to give you a back massage. But that person won't be me, but the entire Snow Domain Kingdom." Wang Lin's expression remained calm, his eyes steady as he spoke. As he spoke, his right hand flashed through the void. Instantly, a spatial rift appeared. From within, streams of annihilation wind blew outwards. However, the wind had no effect on Wang Lin. Li Yuanfeng's eyes clearly showed the internal struggle. Although he was selfish, he was still born in the Snow Domain Kingdom, a person of the Snow Domain Kingdom, and therefore had deep feelings for it. In that instant, he let out a desperate cry, abandoning his intention to self-destruct. Zheng Niu was right. Self-destruction wouldn't harm the other party, but the Snow Domain Kingdom would certainly disappear from the Vermilion Bird Star. He stared intently at Wang Lin, and after taking a deep breath, he said slowly, "Tang Yu, I lost, but this has nothing to do with the Snow Domain Kingdom. You shouldn't pursue this to the point of annihilation. If you agree, I willingly let you do as you please." Wang Lin's eyes were icy cold. His right hand pointed into the air, performing the soul extraction technique. A beam of spiritual light quickly flew into Li Yuanfeng's forehead. Li Yuanfeng didn't resist, only sighed softly, looked around wistfully, and closed his eyes. Soul extraction. Wang Lin whispered. Instantly, one could see Wang Lin's body rapidly withering. In a flash, his entire body was nothing but skin and bones. A golden light flew out from his forehead. A soul of the nascent soul stage. Wang Lin stared intently, then reached out and seized the soul. After sealing it, he put it into his storage bag. Li Yuanfeng, a hero of his life, thus perished. Wang Lin remained silent for a moment, then looked up at the bell and the two banners controlling the two armless figures. His right hand lightly waved, gathering them back. Then his body moved slightly, and he soared into the air. At this moment, all the nascent soul cultivators of the Snow Domain Kingdom saw the outcome of the battle through their divine consciousness. A wave of pain and anger surged in their hearts. Wang Lin stood in midair, his divine consciousness spreading throughout the Snow Domain Kingdom, releasing a divine thought. From today onwards, no cultivator other than the nascent soul stage is allowed in the Snow Domain Kingdom. No cultivation sect is permitted to exist. Otherwise, I will return. The intent contained within Wang Lin's nascent soul stirred, and the painting of the cycle of life and death reappeared in the sky. Wang Lin pointed his finger, and 10 streams of gray energy flew out from the painting, instantly dispersing in all directions and entering the bodies of each nascent soul cultivator of the Snow Domain Kingdom. Seal. With a single word, Wang Lin sealed the cultivation of all the nascent soul cultivators. The situation was exactly the same as when Li Yuanfeng sealed Wang Lin's cultivation. At this moment, 2 marks appeared on the foreheads of the nascent soul cultivators. One mark was faint, the other clear, representing life and death. Their cultivation plummeted by 1,000 feet. After finishing, Wang Lin patted his storage bag. A spirit beast appeared, carrying him away, gradually disappearing into the horizon. After the battle, rumors about Zheng Niu spread throughout the Vermilion Bird Star. The name Zheng Niu was almost synonymous with the title of the #1 person among the nascent soul cultivators. Many even believed that Zheng Niu's cultivation was at the nascent soul stage. No one doubted Zheng Niu's strength. He defeated Li Yuanfeng, a nascent soul cultivator. He sealed the nascent soul cultivators of an entire cultivation nation, forcing a 5th-level cultivation nation to drop to levels and become a 3rd-level cultivation nation. Such stories strike fear into the hearts of everyone who hears them. At this moment, in a small town in a 3rd-tier cultivation nation, an old man sat. Before him was a small basin. The old man was disheveled, his hair messy. Beside him stood a man respectfully. This man had a large face, big ears, and a peculiar appearance. If Wang Lin were here, he would certainly recognize him as an acquaintance. Wang Lin's attack was truly powerful. I didn't expect him to be able to kill a nascent soul cultivator. This is no simple matter. Initially, I truly had a good eye for judging people. Ha ha. The old man stroked his chin and looked up at the other man, saying, Zheng Niu helped you make the Snow Region Kingdom a third-tier cultivation nation. You also helped him meet Liu Mi. Take my straw hat. If you can't defeat the enemy, you can escape. Let's see what level this young man has reached with his heartless Dao. The imposing figure respectfully nodded and looked towards the Snow Domain Kingdom, a hint of sadness in his eyes. After the man left, the old man stood up and muttered, only 12 years left. Vermilion Bird. That year, I made a bet with you. The loser would punish themselves for 1,000 years. 12 years remain until my punishment ends. He took a deep breath and disappeared. What a headache. Of the 4 people I selected, Xi Din is the most troublesome. Why did he have to get involved with Zheng Niu and get thrown into the spatial rift? And he even wants me to retrieve him. If it weren't for the rift in Qian Feng's Dao heart, I wouldn't have bothered saving him. Qian Feng. Qian Feng. Oh, in my entire life, this person is the most talented. Han Dai is still a notch below him. The battle between Zheng Niu and Li Yuanfeng has spread throughout the Vermilion Bird Star. The ability to bring down a 5th-level cultivation nation to the 3rd level such a feat is known to every cultivator. At this moment, on Vermilion Bird Mountain in the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, in the Forbidden's area behind the mountain, Qian Feng crushed the sound transmission jade slip. A glint flashed in his eyes, and after a moment, he muttered, Zheng Niu. Killing Li Yuanfeng is nothing. He's just a worthless nobody who rose to power. Only if you can kill the ancestor of the giant demon clan will you be qualified to be my opponent. Behind him, Han Dai stood silently, her eyes empty and lifeless. Qian Feng turned his head and glanced at Han Dai, a sinister smile playing on his lips, and said, Juking, do you want to fight Zheng Niu? This is your greatest wish before your primordial spirit is annihilated. After news spread throughout the Vermilion Bird Star that Zheng Niu and the Snow Domain Kingdom had fought a battle, Zheng Niu disappeared. Wang Lin left the Snow Domain Kingdom and immediately found a quiet place. He then took the 2 severed arms and entered the heaven-defying space. At this moment, he stood beneath Sichunan's enormous nascent soul. Upon arriving, he immediately released the seals on the 2 arms. The moment the seals were broken, the 2 severed arms floated up into the air, hovering around Sichunan's nascent soul. Wang Lin gazed intently at the scene before him, his eyes completely serious. He had previously suspected that the 2 severed arms were part of Sichunan's body, and now he was even more certain. After hundreds of years, Sichunan's nascent soul showed a tremor for the first time. Immediately afterward, a beam of light shot out from the nascent soul, enveloping the 2 severed arms. Slowly, the severed arms moved towards the nascent soul and disappeared into the nascent soul's body. Wang Lin could clearly sense that Sichunan's nascent soul was recovering at an extremely rapid pace. It was slowly becoming clearer, transitioning from a transparent state. In an instant, the light emanating from the nascent soul vanished, and the atmosphere returned to normal. But at this moment, Sichunan's nascent soul was completely clear, though it hadn't yet awakened. Back then, Sichunan said that only when I reached the nascent soul transformation stage could I awaken his divine power. At the time, his words weren't clear, but now it's definitely related to immortal power. Wang Lin pondered for a moment, then glanced at Sichunan's nascent soul before looking back at the souls of his parents. After a while, Wang Lin sighed softly and turned to leave the heaven-defying space. That severed arm is indeed a part of Sichunan's body. I wonder how many more parts of his body are left on the Vermilion Bird Star. Wang Lin emerged from the heaven-defying space, looking up towards the giant demon clan. I've investigated Li Yuanfeng's soul. Back then, he only happened to have 2 arms. Besides that, there are no other clues. Wang Lin shook his head slightly, lifted his foot, and disappeared. The immortal sword in the hands of the giant demon clan's ancestor must also be retrieved. Back then, Sun Tai and the giant demon clan's ancestor fought a battle. In the end, the giant demon clan's ancestor had to use his innate divine abilities to defeat Sun Tai, but in the end, he was injured by Sun Tai's puppet pupil, and his fate is unknown. If that person didn't die but lost their body, they would certainly seek a new one. The time to adapt to the new body is still short, but I don't know if they've fully adapted yet. The giant demon clan's ancestor didn't forcibly reach the nascent soul stage like Li Yuanfeng. He relied on his own cultivation to diligently reach it. Not to mention, the giant demon clan's fighting style is somewhat similar to that of the ancient gods. I'm afraid the giant demon clan's ancestors might have some connection with the ancient gods. Therefore, fighting him wouldn't be a sure thing. Wang Lin frowned, stopping outside an ancient teleportation array. The destination of the ancient teleportation array was indeed the giant demon clan's location. Wang Lin's expression changed repeatedly as he pondered. Actually, that's not the important thing. The main point is that the giant demon clan's ancestors' innate divine abilities are so powerful that even Sun Tai, with his mid-stage nascent soul cultivation, couldn't avoid being sucked into the vortex. Therefore, fighting the giant demon ancestor would be even less certain. If we fight, the outcome is uncertain. But if we don't fight, we'll miss the best opportunity to kill him. If he successfully possessed my body and wanted to kill me, who knows how long it would take. Moreover, that person was eager to kill me because the giant demon clan saw that I possessed the heaven-defying pearl. Wang Lin has lived for 500 years. Even the most foolish person would have become cunning. Not to mention, he's not a complete idiot, but extremely intelligent. 500 years has allowed him to understand many things. Combining all of this, 2 years ago, upon awakening, he had already figured out the reason. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and he stepped into the ancient teleportation array. He then took out a piece of immortal jade and placed it in the array's eye. Instantly, a translucent light screen appeared before him. 11 points of light flickered around it. Wang Lin's right hand touched one of the points of light, and the light screen disappeared, and the teleportation array opened. In the dazzling light of the teleportation array, Wang Lin slowly vanished. In the northern part of the Vermilion Bird continent, within the Pailuo Kingdom, there was an ancient teleportation array. At this moment, the array was emitting a dazzling light. After the light disappeared, Wang Lin emerged from within. He didn't linger. Upon appearing, he went straight to the Soul Refining Sect. At this time, the 3 mountains of the Soul Refining Sect were shrouded in darkness. Looking up from below, they resembled 3 sharp blades piercing the sky, radiating a chilling aura. Wang Lin appeared outside the Soul Refining Sect, quickly passing through the array towards the 9 golden rings of light. The light of the 9 rings flickered, and a middle-aged man appeared. After seeing Wang Lin, his expression changed repeatedly. Then, he sighed softly and respectfully clasped his hands, saying, "I'm Ayang Tia. Greetings, young sect master." Young sect master. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. But he immediately understood that Dun Tia had informed all the nascent soul cultivators about his matter. Wang Lin clasped his hands and nodded, saying, "Taoist Ayang, I wish to see Ancestor Dun Tia." Ayang Tia shook his head and said, "Young sect master, Ancestor Dun Tia is in seclusion. Unless absolutely necessary, one should not awaken him. But since the Ancestor has anticipated your arrival, he has asked me to wait here and give you 2 things. As he spoke, his expression became increasingly complex. Then, he threw out a storage bag. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he received the bag. After scanning it with his divine consciousness, his expression immediately changed. Ayang Tia smiled wryly and said, "Young sect master, you have been designated as Ancestor Dun Tia's successor. I have been in the Soul Refining Sect for 700 years, but this is the first time I've seen the Ancestor give this to someone else. Although it's not the main body, it's still a clone." Previously, he had been summoned by Dun Tia, who gave him a storage bag and instructed him to wait for Wang Lin to arrive before handing it over. Therefore, he had secretly used his divine consciousness to examine it, and was instantly terrified. If it weren't for his loyalty and devotion to the Soul Refining Sect, he certainly wouldn't have been able to restrain his greed. The storage bag contained only 2 items, a jade slip and a soul banner. Wang Lin took out the jade slip and scanned it with his divine consciousness. In an instant, he had to take a deep breath, bowing deeply towards Dun Tia, who was in seclusion, and said, "Thank you." Although his voice was indifferent, Wang Lin remembered that kindness in his heart. After saying this, he nodded to Ayang Tia and disappeared from the Soul Refining Sect. Ayang Tia's gaze was extremely complex. He shook his head and sighed inwardly before returning to the circle of light. The innate divine power of the giant demon clan is too great. But the giant demon ancestor has only just reached the nascent soul stage, so he can't yet fully unleash his divine abilities. At most, No D could only fly out to the space outside the Vermilion Bird Star. Wang Lin hadn't left the territory of the soul refining sect yet, sitting on the peak of Soul Refining Peak, holding a jade slip and deep in thought. The jade slip contained a relatively detailed account of the giant demon clan's innate divine abilities, recounted by Dun Tia. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his right hand reaching into the storage bag Ian Tia had just given him. Immediately, a golden-purple light burst forth from within. The dazzling light transformed into a large banner 3 jang high. The banner fluttered even without wind. Simultaneously, countless sounds of ghostly wails and wolf howls emanated from within. The surrounding space grew even darker. Even the bright moon hastily hid behind the clouds, not daring to appear. The golden-purple rays of light emanating from the banner seemed to devour the heavens and earth. The 10 billion soul banner. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his gaze fixed on the banner. This was one of the 2 items Dun Tia had placed in his storage bag. It was also the reason Ian Tia was so moved. Wang Lin's return to the soul refining sect this time was to borrow Dun Tian's treasure to help him kill the giant demon clan's ancestor and reclaim the immortal sword. However, this wasn't the main banner. The official main banner was currently with Dun Tia, who was in seclusion with him. The soul banner before him was a replica. It possessed 1/3 of the main banner's power, but could only be used twice. After 2 uses, it would vanish into thin air. Even so, the value of the soul banner was immeasurable. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes as he reached out and took the banner. The moment his hand touched the soul banner, his primordial spirit trembled and extended from his body, entering the soul banner. Instantly, a feeling like falling into a Shura hell arose. Before his eyes, countless wailing souls enveloped his body. The agonizing cries and sounds of pain, like massive waves, suddenly crashed over Wang Lin, making him feel as if he were being struck by millions of souls. With his current physical condition, he felt his bones and tendons breaking under this invisible attack. But what terrified him even more was the sign of his primordial spirit disintegrating. Just one onslaught was enough to render him powerless. His right arm, holding the soul banner, trembled slightly. Wang Lin's eyes shone brightly. He immediately calmed his mind and activated the soul-locking technique described in the jade slip that Dun Tia had given him earlier. The billion-dollar soul banner was indeed the #1 treasure of the soul refining sect. Even on the Vermilion Bird Star, the soul banner could surpass almost all other magical treasures and stand at the pinnacle. This treasure, like the divine chariot, required special techniques to unlock and use. Refining the soul banner involved using the soul-locking technique. In the soul refining sect, up to this point, including Wang Lin, only 2 people knew the soul-locking technique. Unlike the divine chariot, although Wang Lin also possessed the inheritance, his strength was insufficient to unlock it. Therefore, its power was not as imagined. But the soul banner in his hand was different. Although it also had cultivation requirements, they were not as demanding as the divine chariot. With the cultivation level Wang Lin had after merging with his main body, he was strong enough to use it. The soul-locking technique circulated within Wang Lin's body. In an instant, within the soul sea of the soul banner, Wang Lin's primordial spirit flashed with countless eerie lights. Under that light, all the approaching spirits let out a piercing scream and scattered. Among the multitude of souls, 12 souls of a golden-purple hue slowly floated towards Wang Lin's primordial spirit. Powerful streams of soul energy emanated from their bodies. The 12 golden-purple souls bowed deeply to Wang Lin. Wang Lin's primordial spirit emitted a golden light. This light appeared due to the activation of the soul-locking divine ability. The 12 purple gold souls were the 12 nascent soul stage cultivators who, before their deaths, willingly sacrificed their souls. There were 12 nascent soul stage souls plus several hundred transformation god stage souls. And the number of nascent soul souls was countless. After the purple gold souls bowed, all the souls within the soul banner became still. Immediately afterward, streams of soul power from the souls transformed into black energy that rushed out at an extremely fast speed, converging before Wang Lin. Black light beams flew in from all directions. Finally, the 12 purple gold souls, along with the black light beams, simultaneously rushed forward to form a 3-jang tall illusory soul banner, suddenly appearing before Wang Lin's primordial spirit. At this moment, Wang Lin was still witnessing all the events unfolding within the soul banner. The illusory soul banner before him was the very soul of the banner. Being able to control it was equivalent to officially controlling the 10 billion soul banners. Wang Lin's primordial spirit moved, reaching out to grasp the soul banner. Instantly, he felt his body tremble violently. Immediately afterward, his primordial spirit returned to his body. On the peak of soul refining peak, Wang Lin opened his eyes. Before him was only a vast, boundless space. But he could feel a purple gold soul banner within his primordial spirit, being continuously refined by it. Ancestor of the giant demon clan, your calamity is inescapable. A glint of light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and without a word, he vanished from the soul refining sect. After Wang Lin left, a sigh emanated from the blood-red circle where Deng Tiao was in seclusion. At the ancient teleportation array, Wang Lin suddenly appeared. After activating the teleportation array, he vanished from Pailuo Kingdom. The giant demon clan. The giant demon clan's territory was vast. Years ago, the giant demon clan, having migrated from elsewhere, had made an agreement with the vermilion bird to be allocated this place to live. The giant demon clan had 12 giant demon heavens. In reality, the giant demon heavens were palaces. The 12 palaces looked identical, each hundreds of feet tall. For the past 2 years, since the giant demon clan's ancestor lost his physical body and underwent a soul transmigration, no one in the clan knew where he was. After all, the soul transmigration process is when one's strength is weakest. Therefore, the ancestor's secluded location changed 3 times in those 2 years. Today, Shadhu was sitting in the 3rd palace. In his hand was a jade slip. At this moment, his face was pale, and his eyes were somewhat dazed. Zheng Niu has killed the Yuanfeng of the Snow Domain Kingdom. According to my understanding, his next target will definitely be the ancestor. If he really comes looking for us, he obviously has a plan. What should I do now? Although the ancestor made a mistake, he is still the hope of the giant demon clan. Everything he does is for the future of the giant demon clan. But Zheng Niu is my friend. Oh. Shadhu shook his head in distress, his eyes filled with confusion. At this moment, Wang Lin appeared at the border of the giant demon clan. He didn't rush into the clan, but chose a hidden mountain valley. He took out various formation materials from his storage bag and slowly set up a formation. That formation had only one function: positioning. This was a method to counter the innate divine abilities of the giant demon clan's ancestor. Through this formation, even if he was teleported away by the opponent's innate divine abilities, he wouldn't be lost in the starry sky. He could be instantly teleported back here. It was like having a rope tied to him. Even if he were teleported elsewhere, the rope would hold him back, preventing him from being transported too far. Moreover, he could quickly determine the direction to return. This formation was inscribed on the jade slip that the soul refining sect's ancestor Deng Tiao had given him. After studying it, Wang Lin mixed in some of his own forbidden techniques, making the formation even more exquisite. He spent 3 months completing it. Then, without hesitation, he placed a block of immortal jade inside to maintain its energy. At the same time, he also arranged countless forbidden spells around it for protection. Having finished everything, Wang Lin raised his head and looked towards the giant demon clan. A cold glint flashed in his eyes and then disappeared. Upon reappearing, he was in the center of the giant demon clan. His divine consciousness quickly spread out, sweeping across more than half of the giant demon clan. Giant demon ancestor, come out here. Wang Lin unleashed a divine thought that spread throughout the heavens and earth. Almost instantly, countless members of the giant demon clan sensed it. Some were meditating, others were fighting. But at this moment, they all withdrew their hands, their eyes filled with fear, and looked up at Wang Lin's position. Shadhu sighed inwardly and disappeared from the palace. After Wang Lin released his divine consciousness, he remained calmly standing in place. Almost instantly, countless beams of light flew from all directions. When they were about 100 feet from Wang Lin, these beams of light transformed into countless members of the giant demon clan. Among them were men and women, old and young. All of them stared intently at Wang Lin with a somber expression. Besides the figures in front of them from the distant horizon, countless other beams of light were flying towards them. At this moment, an old man with snow-white hair of the giant clan appeared from the void. The clan members surrounding him quickly scattered, making way for him. "Where are you from, fellow Taoist?" The old man, standing 100 yards away from Wang Lin, frowned and shouted. Wang Lin's eyes were sharp as knives. He coldly glanced at the old man and said, "Zhang Niu." As soon as the two words left his mouth, the space instantly fell silent. Almost all the giant clan members showed fear. Zhang Niu, is he the one who once defeated Hong Dai? He killed Li Yuanfeng, causing the Snow Domain Kingdom to fall from a 5th level to a 3rd level. He sealed the nascent soul cultivators in the entire country. He is the #1 among the nascent soul cultivators. It is rumored that he has reached the nascent soul stage, otherwise he couldn't have killed Li Yuanfeng. Even the old man who had just spoken took a deep breath, staring intently at Wang Lin before saying, "Dallas Zhang Niu, may I ask what matter brings you to the ancestor of our clan?" Wang Lin's eyes were icy cold as he opened his mouth. "Kill." The old man's face turned extremely ugly, his anger turning into a mocking laugh. He pointed at Wang Lin and said, "I've always heard that you are arrogant, but only today do I see that it's true. Zhang Niu, our giant demon clan is not the Snow Domain Kingdom. How can you just kill us as you please today without the ancestors' intervention? I will kill you right now." As he spoke, the old man patted his storage bag. Instantly, a black token appeared. He grasped the token and shouted, "I, in my capacity as an elder of the giant demon clan, issue this order." All the members of the giant clan used every means to kill Zhang Niu. As soon as the old man finished speaking, the token exploded, turning into dust. An invisible wave quickly spread around, covering the entire clan. Every clan member at this moment felt the message the old man had transmitted. Following his command, hundreds of clan members surrounding Wang Lin shouted loudly, their bodies growing several times larger. Almost instantly, more than 100 giants appeared. They all raised their hands to their foreheads and gently rubbed them, immediately causing countless heaven-opening axes to appear. The aura emanating from their bodies instantly spread throughout the heavens and earth. "Kill!" the old man shouted, his body instantly emitting explosive sounds, his figure quickly transforming into a giant 10 jang tall. In his hand, he held a huge axe, its surface constantly flashing with purple lightning. He swung the axe straight towards Wang Lin. "Kill!" The tribesmen from all sides roared in unison and charged forward. Their voices merged, shaking the heavens and earth, sending shockwaves towards Wang Lin. This was the method of the giant demon tribe. They were completely different from ordinary cultivators. For the giant demon tribe, once they identified an enemy, a single command from an elder meant no one-on-one combat. Instead, they all attacked simultaneously. There was no need for many words, just one word, "kill," was enough. If it were an ordinary cultivator, they wouldn't even have time to react before being confronted by hundreds of giants roaring at them. Their voices carried a frenzied killing intent, like a beast from ancient times charging towards them. However, this beast posed no threat to Wang Lin. Wang Lin's killing intent, it could be said, had reached a terrifying level. His life was practically one of slaughter, especially his main body. That was absolutely true. At this moment, the clone and the main body merged, so the killing intent from the ear also merged. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and killing intent immediately emanated from his body. "Tell me where your ancestor is in seclusion, otherwise you will die." For the entire giant demon clan, except for Chihu, Wang Lin had no good feelings towards anyone else. At this moment, after using his divine consciousness to search, he hadn't found the location of the giant demon clan's ancestors' seclusion, so his patience had run out. As he spoke, Wang Lin didn't even bother to pay attention to the giant demon clan members. As soon as his primordial spirit's intent stirred, the surrounding skies suddenly darkened. A strange force instantly enveloped the heavens and earth. The painting of the cycle of life and death suddenly appeared in the sky. At the same time, the illusory image of an ancient god also appeared. In the sky, the ancient god raised both hands, holding the painting of life and death reincarnation. At this moment, only that one scene existed in the entire heaven and earth. Wine! Wang Lin's eyes were icy cold, devoid of any emotion, and he spoke calmly. Instantly, countless streams of gray energy emerged from the painting of life and death reincarnation, flying down from the sky like lightning into the bodies of the giant demon clan members. The old man of the giant demon clan changed color. He gritted his teeth and continued his attack. As his hammer was about to strike, Wang Lin tilted his head and glanced at the old man, uttering a single word, "transform." Just one word, yet it caused the old man's body to tremble, his primordial spirit swaying. He let out a loud cry, and without knowing what divine ability he was using, quickly returned to normal and continued his attack. Wang Lin let out a small gasp. His right hand clenched into a fist and struck out. Boom! The old man of the giant clan, spitting fresh blood, retreated several meters, falling onto a clansman who also spat out a mouthful of blood. Both retreated more than 10 meters before stopping. At this moment, two streams of gray energy pursued them, entering their bodies. Zheng Niu, stop! Just then, a mournful voice echoed from afar. Wang Lin looked up. The coldness on his face slightly faded. Shat Hu! Shat Hu was like a flash of lightning. The moment his words ended, he was already in front of them. He was astonished to see the hundreds of tribesmen surrounding him. On their foreheads, there were two marks, one deep and one shallow. Shat Hu could only sense very faint fluctuations in their spiritual power, clearly indicating that their cultivation had been sealed. At this moment, the faces of the hundreds of tribesmen were extremely grim and filled with fear. They had heard rumors before, but only now, seeing it apply to them, did they truly feel the pain. Shat Hu looked at Wang Lin with a very complex expression and said loudly, Zheng Niu. If you are a friend of Shat Hu, then quickly leave the giant demon tribe. Wang Lin remained silent for a moment before speaking slowly. Shat Hu, up until now, not a single member of the giant clan has died. Do you know why? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have needed to do this. As the two spoke, more and more members of the giant clan rushed in from all directions, surrounding them and creating a heavy pressure. Shat Hu felt extremely distressed. His expression changed constantly as he said, Zheng Niu, you. Wang Lin looked at Shat Hu, sighed softly, and said, Shat Hu, tell me the location of the giant clan's ancestor. I will go find him. I will not touch any of the other members of the giant clan. How audacious! How arrogant! Countless vicious words echoed from all directions. Immediately afterward, 3 old men wearing crimson robes and with black axes on their foreheads emerged from the crowd. Upon their appearance, they radiated a powerful aura of pressure. Wang Lin glanced over. All 3 were at the peak of the nascent soul stage. Even a trace of immortal power flowed through their bodies, indicating they were on the verge of breaking through to the spirit transformation stage. Zheng Niu, I, Tiamu, the great elder of the giant demon clan, want to challenge you. One of the 3 elders suddenly spoke in a gloomy voice. Wang Lin's gaze remained icy as he looked at the old man and said, You are not worthy. After saying this, he looked towards Chi Hu, awaiting his reply. The old man's face alternated between green and red as he stared intently at Wang Lin. Suddenly, he burst into laughter. A cold glint flashed in his eyes as he took a step forward. A purple giant axe suddenly appeared in his hand. He let out a loud roar and slashed towards Wang Lin. The giant demon clan members rarely used magical techniques or divine abilities. They mostly relied on their physical strength as their primary method of attack. Wang Lin glanced at the old man, his right hand clenched into a fist and struck. Boom! A loud explosion rang out, and the old man retreated several meters. His face turned pale, unable to believe his eyes. The other 2 old men in crimson robes also changed color, staring at Wang Lin, inwardly lamenting their misfortune. Wang Lin's body remained unmoved. He looked at the old man, shook his head, and said, You are still not worthy? Shat Hu said miserably, I don't know the location of the ancestor. Zheng Niu, stop. My giant demon clan is not your enemy. Wang Lin thought for a moment, then looked up at the sky. He pointed his right index finger at Shat Hu and shouted, Shat Hu, give me your ancestor's flying sword. I will leave immediately. Shat Hu said inwardly, looking at Wang Lin, his heart struggling. After a moment, he said clearly, No one knows the location of the ancestor's seclusion, but we can use the heaven-connecting formation of our giant demon clan to contact the ancestor. Wang Lin, after obtaining the immortal sword, leave here immediately. Wang Lin stared at Chi Hu and slowly nodded. The 3 old men in crimson robes remained silent. Except for the ancestor, these 3 were the strongest members of the giant demon clan, yet they couldn't resist the opponent, let alone others. Especially after seeing hundreds of clan members sealed, all 3 became even more gloomy. Chihu turned to look at the three old men, his eyes complex, and said, "Three great elders, please open the heaven connecting formation. I will preside over it in my capacity as the young clan leader of the giant demon clan." The three old men in crimson robes glanced at each other and nodded. Without saying a word, they patted their temples. Instantly, three giant axes appeared in their hands. "Open the Western Realm Giant Demon Heaven," one of the three old men whispered. The giant axe in his hand was thrown into the air. The old man made a hand gesture, unleashing a beam of spiritual light. Instantly, the ground of the giant demon clan shook violently. A black column of light shot up from his hand, piercing through the 9 heavens. Spiritual power surged from all directions. At the same time, another black column of light rose from the ground to the west. The scene was far from over. In the blink of an eye after the first 2 columns of light appeared, a third one also shot up, causing the ground to tremble and countless cracks to appear. A wave of energy emanated from the 3 columns of light, causing the air to ripple. "Open the southern giant demon heaven. Open the northern giant demon heaven." The 2 old men in crimson robes immediately shouted. Their 2 giant axes were also thrown into the air. Suddenly, earth-shattering tremors erupted from both the north and south. 6 massive black pillars shot upwards, emitting deafening roars that echoed in all directions. Shathu glanced at Wang Lin, then gritted his teeth and shouted, "Open the Eastern Realm Giant Demon Heaven." As soon as he finished speaking, rumbling sounds immediately came from the east. 3 black pillars of light emerged from the ground. At this moment, if viewed from above, the entire giant demon clan was surrounded by 12 pillars of light. 3 pillars of light appeared in each direction: east, west, south, and north, resembling a celestial prison. After all 12 pillars of light shot up, all the giant demon clan members surrounding Wang Lin sat down cross-legged. Each person made a hand gesture, muttering incantations. Their voices strangely merged together, like a demonic incantation rapidly spreading in all directions. At this moment, throughout the giant demon kingdom, all the giant demon cultivators who hadn't yet arrived, regardless of their cultivation level, sat cross-legged, muttering strange sounds. Suddenly, that sound echoed throughout the heavens and earth. From the 12 black pillars of light, countless black rays of light emanated. They seemed to be stimulated by the chanting in the heavens and earth, causing the light to grow stronger and stronger. Wang Lin's eyes held a hint of sadness. He had long since sensed the inner conflict in Chihu's heart. However, he had too few friends in his life, so he still clung to a glimmer of hope. Within a radius of 10,000 feet around Wang Lin, only he, Chihu, and 3 other giant demon cultivators remained standing. All the others sat cross-legged, chanting strange sounds. Chihu looked at Wang Lin with a complex expression, saying sorrowfully, "Zhang Niu, I'm sorry, but the patriarch is the hope of our giant demon clan. As the young clan leader, I must bear some responsibility for the heaven-connecting great formation. Even the patriarch's body couldn't withstand 8 attacks. Your body is no match for our giant demon clan, so you can't possibly survive." He raised his right hand and pointed towards Wang Lin. Instantly, the surrounding giant demon clan was enveloped in a strange sound. The sound grew louder and more urgent. 12 black pillars of light trembled, quickly moving and transforming into 12 black beams of light that struck Wang Lin from all directions at incredible speed. Wang Lin sighed softly and looked at Chihu, calmly saying, "Chihu, in the immortal realm, you owed me. 2 years ago, I owed you. From now on, there is no longer any debt between you and me. Everything returns to normal." Chihu's eyes darkened, and he said, "Normal, that's right. The relationship between you and me will return to normal." Wang Lin raised his head and looked around. From all 4 directions, 12 streams of light were rushing towards him. He laughed loudly and said, "Shathu, do you think the Tongshan Great Formation can kill me? Break it for me." A flash of light flickered in Wang Lin's eyes, and then his body moved slightly, appearing in front of a stream of light that was rushing towards him. A punch broke through the air and shot forward. Boom! The black stream of light instantly shattered, transforming into a whirlwind that spread around. After the attack, Wang Lin's body retreated several meters, a bloodstain on his right hand. The first strike. Wang Lin's eyes shone brightly. After the battle with Li Yuanfen, the physical level of a 3-star ancient god couldn't fully unleash its strength. At this moment, his eyes clearly showed his fighting spirit. He raised his right hand to his mouth, his tongue licking the fresh blood still clinging to it. A glint flashed in his eyes, and he lunged towards the second beam of light. A loud explosion rang out, and the second black beam of light shattered. Wang Lin laughed heartily in midair and shouted, "The second!" His figure moved again, attacking. At this moment, the black beams of light shooting across the sky seemed on the verge of collapse. Countless facial cracks appeared. Boom, 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 boom. Wang Lin laughed loudly. His figure flashed again, unleashing a punch that shattered another black beam of light. Blood appeared on his right fist after each impact, which he licked away. At this moment, Wang Lin looked terrifying. He laughed like a madman in midair and shouted, "The eighth!" His clothes were torn to shreds, revealing his muscular upper body. 3 purple points of light moved incredibly fast between his eyebrows, making them indistinct. The chanting of the giant clan members on the ground grew louder and more bizarre. Their bodies were no longer motionless but swayed according to some kind of pattern. Shadhu's eyes still couldn't believe what he was seeing. In the giant clan, except for the ancestor, no one could withstand 8 beams of light from the heaven-connecting formation. Even the ancestor could only withstand 8 beams of light. Of course, that was only in terms of physical strength. If using magic, with the ancestor's cultivation, he could completely withstand all 12 beams of light, but he would certainly be injured afterward. Wang Lin shouted loudly, his body like a flash of lightning. His right hand attacked again, shattering 3 black beams of light. At this moment, he looked like an ancient demon god statue, surrounded by blazing demonic flames. One last strike. Shadhu, watch carefully. Wang Lin's laughter shook the heavens and earth. Finally, the beam of light arrived. At this moment, Wang Lin didn't throw a punch, but only roared. His body instantly grew larger, transforming into a giant over 10 meters tall. Boom! The beam of light struck Wang Lin's chest and then dissipated. Wang Lin's gigantic body recoiled 3 steps, but not a single hair was harmed. He looked up at the sky and shouted loudly. Instantly, the clouds covering the sky immediately dispersed. The Tongshan formation was broken. This was the true power of a 3-star ancient god. Shadhu, now you and I owe each other nothing. Giant Demon Clan, seal. Wang Lin pointed his finger straight up at the sky. Instantly, countless streams of gray energy hissed out from the painting of the cycle of life and death, entering the bodies of all the Giant Demon Clan members. Starting today, the Giant Demon Clan will have no nascent soul cultivators. Anyone wishing to break through to the core formation stage must obtain my permission. This is your punishment. Wang Lin's eyes were icy cold. At this moment, his words carried the weight of divine authority, deciding the fate of the Giant Demon Clan. The combination of his main body and clone, the 3-star ancient god combined with a late-stage transformation god cultivator, created something unprecedented, an incredibly powerful Wang Lin. In the absence of nascent soul cultivators using immortal power, no one on the Vermilion Bird Star could match his physical strength, because he was an ancient god, a 3-star ancient god. Wang Lin had carefully considered this. If he continued to conceal his strength as before, it would only attract more trouble. Simply killing Li Yuanfeng, killing the ancestor of the Giant Demon Clan to sacrifice to the flag, was what drew the attention of the cultivators on Vermilion Bird Star. Especially since, to make the Vermilion Bird transform, he was not just a pawn. After leaving Vermilion Bird Kingdom, a constant pressure enveloped Wang Lin's body and mind. That pressure came from Vermilion Bird Kingdom, from Vermilion Bird Mountain. The appearance of Liu Mi was like lifting a corner of the fog, making Wang Lin completely certain that he had been drawn into a conspiracy. With Wang Lin's temperament, how could he allow himself to be controlled or manipulated by others? Therefore, he didn't hesitate to unleash his full power. He didn't want to be a pawn. And even if he were to be a pawn, it had to be a thorny one that would make anyone who touched it bleed. Although the matter of the ancient god was exposed, Wang Lin still had a way out. Moreover, the ancient god has disappeared for countless years, becoming a legend from ancient times. It's likely that even the Vermilion Bird, after seeing Wang Lin, wouldn't be able to definitively determine if he is indeed the ancient god. Anyway, in the cultivation world, there are people who practice body cultivation. The Giant Demon Clan is one of them. Wang Lin had thought this through carefully. He didn't intend to stay on the Vermilion Bird Star for long. After obtaining the true 10 billion Venerable Soul banner, he would go to the Heavenly Fortune Star. Giant demon ancestor, come out here! Wang Lin shouted loudly from midair. His voice echoed throughout the giant demon clan. Shanhu laughed miserably, his body swaying before falling to the ground. Although Wang Lin didn't kill him, at this moment, due to the destruction of the Grand Formation, as the one in charge, he suffered a severe backlash. Wang Lin's voice echoed throughout the giant demon clan. At this moment, no one dared to step forward to stop him or have the courage to shout. The only one qualified to stop Wang Lin was the clan's ancestor, who was hiding somewhere. At the same time, on the border of the giant demon clan, a woman in purple looked towards this direction. The woman was incredibly beautiful, possessing an irresistible charm. A strange glint flashed in her eyes as she murmured, "This is your true strength, isn't it, Wang Lin? It turns out my master underestimated you." Wang Lin's voice echoed across the sky of the giant demon clan. At this moment, in a vast plain within the clan, at a depth of 1,000 fathoms, there was a transparent cave dwelling. Inside, a person sat cross-legged, meditating. At first glance, the person's features were quite pleasing to the eye. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, his gaze seemingly penetrating the cave dwelling and looking directly into the distance. In an instant, a cold glint flashed in his eyes as he muttered, "Wang Lin, you little brat. Let you be arrogant for a while. It won't be too late to kill you after I've completely merged with you. Humph, although you sealed my giant demon clan, once I successfully possess your body, I will unseal it." Having said that, he closed his eyes again, sinking back into meditation. At this moment, a puff of black smoke suddenly emerged from the old man's storage bag. The old man raised his eyebrows, opened his eyes, and patted the storage bag. Instantly, the immortal sword he had seized from Wang Lin years ago flew out. A puff of black smoke emanated from the immortal sword, transforming into the form of Siligu. But at this moment, Siligu's eyes were bloodshot, his teeth clenched as he glared into the distance, shouting loudly, "Master, I can sense that fellow, Master. I have an irreconcilable feud with this man, Master. Release me, and I will fight him to the death." The ancestor of the giant demon clan glanced at Siligu. In the past 2 years, he had interacted with Siligu quite a bit, and therefore had developed a fondness for the mysterious power of the sword spirit. "You want to kill him? It's not too late to wait until I've possessed his body." Siligu nodded hastily, his face showing flattery. He bowed to the giant demon ancestor, gratefully saying, "Thank you, Master, for your concern. I'm much better than Wang Lin, the heaven-slaying saber. I will definitely be loyal to you. But, Master, could you allow me to stab Wang Lin one last time at the very end?" The giant demon ancestor laughed heartily, saying, "What did Wang Lin do back then that made you hate him so much?" Siligu gritted his teeth, saying, "Master, you don't know. I've hated Wang Lin to the bone. Damn it, he made me do everything. Sometimes he'd even call me out to beat and scold me, but that's nothing. The important thing is that he never gave me any benefit, and like you, Master, he often gives me spirit stones to absorb. Master, after we kill Wang Lin, please reward me with some female cultivators. Otherwise, Master, summon that little fairy sister. I haven't seen her for months, and I miss her." The giant demon ancestor smiled and said, "This is nothing. There's no rush now. After I kill Wang Lin, I will release the phoenix so you and she can meet. Now, I must go into seclusion to cultivate. You go back." As he spoke, he reached out and grabbed. Although Suligu's expression was ingratiating, he was secretly cursing. He slipped into the immortal sword and let the giant demon ancestor put it into his storage bag. This sword soul has all the desires of a human being. It's easy to control. Spirit stones, female cultivators, I'll give it all. I don't believe it can betray me. Moreover, there's the phoenix soul. The sword soul is so infatuated with her. How can it escape my grasp? The giant demon ancestor chuckled coldly, then closed his eyes and began to cultivate. The phoenix soul was something he had accidentally found inside a magical artifact. That spirit possessed an enchanting and seductive beauty, its entire being exuding a lustful aura. Even with his strong willpower, he was nearly captivated by it. Fortunately, the spirit was somewhat shattered, saving him from certain death. Therefore, he greatly feared this type of spirit. After acquiring the immortal sword, he noticed something strange about Siligu. To control the sword spirit, he unleashed his spirit. As expected, upon seeing the spirit, Li Guo became like a hungry wolf, his mind completely consumed. Wang Lin, standing in the sky above the giant demon clan, waited for a while but still didn't see the giant demon ancestor appear. His expression turned grim. The giant demon clan's territory was vast, with countless mountains. If the opponent truly wanted to evade him, searching would be troublesome. His divine consciousness spread out, and his gaze suddenly fell upon a mountain. This was the highest mountain in the giant demon clan. For some unknown reason, when Wang Lin looked towards the mountain, a strange feeling suddenly arose in his heart. He was about to investigate when he suddenly froze, looking towards the north, a smile playing on his lips. Li Guo. Wang Lin's figure moved and then disappeared. He quickly rushed north. At this moment, he used his 3-star lone god body to fly at lightning speed. After several teleportations, he appeared on the northern side of the giant demon clan. Upon arriving, he could see a vast plain. Wang Lin's eyes shone like stars and his divine sense swept across, discovering something strange. Deep beneath the ground, thousands of feet deep, there was a layer of obstruction. Every time his divine sense swept over it, it was pushed aside. Without a close-range divine sense scan, it would be difficult to detect this. A cold smile flicked across his lips. Wang Lin clenched his right hand into a fist, let out a low shout, and struck straight down into the ground. Boom! A deafening explosion reverberated, creating countless cracks in the ground. These cracks spread rapidly, instantly expanding to a radius of 100 meters, continuously splitting deeper beneath the surface. The sounds from the earth lingered for a long time before slowly fading away. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes as he let out a low shout, his right fist striking the ground once more. The tremors continued to spread. At this moment, the ground resembled a writhing dragon, emitting rumbling sounds. Giant demon ancestor, come out here! Wang Lin roared, delivering another punch. Thump! Under that single blow, the giant demon clan's plane instantly collapsed, forming a massive crater. A green figure flashed from within, appearing in midair. Zhang Yu! The man was middle-aged, but his eyes betrayed his age. At this moment, he stared intently at Wang Lin and shouted, I didn't think it would end so quickly for you. But since you've come to me, you truly want to die. As he spoke, his body shot forward like lightning towards Wang Lin, his right hand raised. Wang Lin laughed heartily, not retreating but advancing. His right hand also struck out, colliding with the giant demon ancestor. Boom! A sandstorm erupted in all directions. Countless rocks and earth beneath their feet were swept into the air as if by a whirlwind. The giant demon ancestor retreated several meters. Cracks appeared in the joints of his fists, his eyes filled with terror. Wang Lin also retreated several steps. His fists trembled. He could feel a huge force flowing into his body, frantically tearing everything apart. But it was quickly suppressed and neutralized by his primordial spirit. The giant demon clan's body refining technique is indeed miraculous. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with a strange light before he charged forward again. The giant demon ancestor inwardly groaned in distress. His body hadn't fully fused, and he could only unleash 8 parts of his strength. But even at 8 parts, the sheer power of his body was incredibly formidable. This was the innate talent of the giant demon clan, even capable of and afraid of certain magical artifacts. Yet, at this moment, as he exchanged blows with Wang Lin, even the hardest joints in his body began to crack. How could he not be terrified by such a result? What cultivation technique do you practice? The giant demon ancestor retreated, his face grim. But Wang Lin's speed was too great. A punch sent a swirling vortex of air enveloping him. Countless threads of spiritual energy emerged from the void, binding the giant demon ancestor's body. A glint of light flashed in the giant demon ancestor's eyes. He let out a loud shout, his body shifting slightly, causing the air currents and threads to disappear. At the same time, he leapt up, his right leg kicking forward, striking Wang Lin's fist. A deafening explosion echoed throughout the giant demon clan. The giant demon ancestor's face flushed red as he quickly retreated. Wang Lin felt a sharp pain in his right fist. After retreating several meters, he finally stopped. At this moment, he stared at the giant demon ancestor and took a deep breath. The giant demon ancestor's body, even before its complete fusion, already possessed power inferior to a 3-star ancient god. If his body were fully fused, it would likely be comparable to that of a 3-star ancient god. The giant demon ancestor's expression was extremely grim. Previously, he had refrained from showing himself after witnessing Wang Lin's destruction of the 12 giant demon heavens. Now, having his secluded cultivation spot discovered, he had no choice but to confront him. Wang Lin stared intently at the giant demon ancestor, his body moving as he charged forward again. The giant demon ancestor let out a low growl, his figure suddenly growing enormous, transforming into a 10-meter-tall giant. Without a word, he quickly used the immortal power within his body. Instantly, a golden light emanated from him. His level of immortal power concentration far surpassed that of Li Yuanfeng. After all, the giant demon ancestor had personally cultivated step by step to the early stage of the nascent soul realm. My body is currently undergoing fusion, so I don't wish to use immortal power. Today, forcing me to use immortal power is courting death. The giant demon ancestor roared, his entire body radiating a brilliant light like a sun descending from above. Simultaneously, his body moved slightly. A single movement caused the sky to vibrate. Countless spatial cracks appeared around him. Countless gusts of annihilation wind blew out from within, sweeping to the ground. He unleashed a punch carrying a dazzling golden light. Within the golden light lay immense immortal power. This was the full-force attack of a nascent soul cultivator. Ordinary cultivators, after acquiring immortal power, usually use divine magic to attack. But for the giant clan, their best weapon is their physical body. Therefore, his punch not only contained immortal power, but also the explosive force of his body. The power of that punch caused the northern plains of the giant clan to rumble and collapse, sending countless rocks and debris flying up from below. Wang Lin, accept your death. The ancestor of the giant clan was completely helpless. Now, once he used immortal power, his body, which had been fully fused, could be destroyed, and he would have to find another body. Otherwise, if this body was destroyed by immortal power, unless his cultivation reached the mid-stage of the nascent soul realm, he wouldn't be able to fuse with that body again. A strange light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. The opponent's punch made him feel a sense of danger. This was the second time he had felt danger since his main body and clone merged. The first time was when facing the messenger of the heavenly Tao of reincarnation. But at this moment, Wang Lin showed no fear. He let out a low growl, and 3 purple points of light flashed rapidly from his forehead. Immediately, a purple aura enveloped his body. At the same time, behind him, the illusory image of the ancient god reappeared. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his right hand clenched into a fist, and he lightly struck out. His movement was subtle, but the illusory figure of the ancient god behind him underwent a dramatic transformation. The illusory figure also raised its fist, striking in sync with Wang Lin's movement. In an instant, the giant demon ancestor's fist arrived, colliding with Wang Lin from a distance. Boom, boom, boom. The giant demon ancestor's face turned pale, and he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, his body slumping. Without a word, he potted his storage bag, drawing out the immortal sword he held. His expression ferocious, he roared, Wang Lin, accept your death. As he spoke, he threw the immortal sword and pointed it at the void. Wang Lin's body was like a shooting star, flung far away. His entire arm was completely numb, losing all feeling. The immortal power and physical strength of his opponent had injured him. His 10-jang-tall figure instantly shrunk to the size of an ordinary person. However, a glint of light still flickered in his eyes. As the immortal sword flew out, it immediately emitted countless streams of black energy. These streams of black energy quickly coalesced, transforming into the figure of Suligu. The giant demon ancestor's face was ferocious as he roared, Flash! No sooner had he finished speaking than the immortal sword unleashed a powerful sword energy, its momentum like the splitting of heaven and earth, flashing straight towards Wang Lin. Suligu, on the immortal sword, immediately shouted, Wang Lin, I've come for revenge. At this moment, the giant demon ancestor bared his teeth and sneered, Wang Lin, watch me use your magic weapon to kill you. Wang Lin smirked mockingly. He didn't dodge, instead pointing his finger at the immortal sword. Instantly, the immortal sword, which was slashing down like lightning, suddenly changed direction and with lightning speed, flashed towards the giant demon ancestor. The giant demon ancestor was stunned, his expression changing. But by then, the sword light was already very close, leaving him only enough time to slightly shift his body. A flash of sword light sent a spray of fresh blood into the air. The giant ancestor's left arm was severed from his body. He let out a tragic groan, his body transforming into a blood-red glow as he swiftly retreated. Sulaguo, I will definitely refine your soul and extract your spirit. Then I will seal you in a place where the young fire flourishes and refine you. At this moment, the hatred in his heart was unimaginable. The anger in his heart could submerge the entire earth. He roared furiously, quickly retreating. He had no choice but to retreat. His body had not yet fully fused, and he had tried to use his immortal power, coupled with Wang Lin's attack, causing him injury. The opponent's punch was no less powerful than his own use of immortal power, making his already serious injury even worse. But in his mind, at this moment, his opponent should also be injured like himself. Therefore, he did not hesitate to draw his immortal sword, preparing to seize the opportunity to kill his opponent. But at the crucial moment, Sulaguo turned 180 degrees, causing him to be unable to dodge and lose an arm. Sulaguo, on his immortal sword, immediately burst into laughter. He shrieked, "That brat, no matter how powerful you are, you can't compare to your grandpa Su. I, Sulaguo, am a loyal man. How could I be easily subdued by you?" After saying this, Sulaguo quickly turned to flatter Wang Lin, saying, "Master, what do you think? I've rendered meritorious service again this time, haven't I?" Wang Lin smiled slightly. His body moved slightly, and he hugged the immortal sword to his chest as he chased after the giant demon ancestor. He said, "Rendered meritorious service. After I kill this guy, I'll take him to the outer battlefield for you to absorb his wandering soul to increase your soul power." Sulaguo was overjoyed to hear this. In fact, he had wavered many times over the past 2 years. After all, the giant demon ancestor hadn't treated him badly. But every time he thought about Wang Lin's methods of dealing with the wandering souls, along with the second and third elders, he felt apprehensive and quickly regained his composure. All he knew was that Wang Lin's entire journey was filled with nothing but killing. None of those who provoked him escaped unscathed. He had a feeling that even the giant demon ancestor couldn't escape this fate. Therefore, he couldn't choose the wrong path, no matter what. Otherwise, he would face great disaster. At this moment, he felt extremely pleased. He thought to himself, "My Su family is truly intelligent. This time, I've made a great contribution, and the master of the killing machine will have some respect for me in the future." Thinking about how well the giant demon ancestor had treated him over the past 2 years, he felt a pang of regret. He wondered why the master hadn't arrived a few years later so he could enjoy himself. What a pity! Especially when he thought of that little fairy sister, his heart ached. He thought to himself, "Little fairy sister, rest assured, I will definitely get you out of this sea of fire." In fact, the reason Sulaguo betrayed the giant demon ancestor without hesitation, besides his constant fear of Wang Lin, was partly because of the phoenix soul. When he was seduced by that soul, he had agreed to rescue her from the giant demon ancestor's clutches. Thinking of this, he hurriedly turned to Wang Lin and said, "Master, the giant demon ancestor has a magical treasure in his storage bag. Inside the treasure is a sealed soul. After you kill that old scoundrel, can you rescue that soul?" Wang Lin nodded. His figure was like a flash of lightning, wielding his immortal sword and chasing after her relentlessly. Ahead, the giant demon ancestor roared incessantly. His anger was largely due to Sulaguo. Over the past period, he had treated Sulaguo extremely well, even offering him his soul. Unexpectedly, Sulaguo had betrayed him. "Sulaguo, I will definitely refine you." The giant demon ancestor roared, simultaneously increasing his speed. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. Without a word, he raised his immortal sword and slashed forward. Instantly, a sword energy whizzed out. The giant demon ancestor suddenly descended low before continuing his charge. Very quickly, he reached the easternmost point of the giant demon clan. There, he suddenly turned around and potted his storage bag. Immediately, a black wooden staff appeared in his hand. He let out a low shout, and a black flame suddenly appeared on the staff. In an instant, the staff blazed fiercely like a torch. "Wang Lin, today, this place will be your burial ground. Your body will be possessed by me." The giant demon ancestor roared, swinging the torch in his hand forward. Instantly, the area surrounding Wang Lin within 1,000 feet transformed into a sea of black flames. Black Flame Beast. The giant demon ancestor roared, plunging the torch into the ground. At the same time, he formed a hand seal, unleashing immortal power. Then, he struck the black torch with several immortal incantations. The black torch suddenly flashed with an eerie light. Immediately afterward, all the surrounding flames seemed to be blown by a gust of wind, quickly converging on the torch. In an instant, all the flames on the torch quickly transformed into a huge beast. The beast had a head as big as a bucket, and its body was covered in sharp spikes. Each spike had a flickering flame. Overall, it resembled a giant bear, but it also didn't quite resemble one. The black flame beast let out a roar. Its fiery red eyes stared intently at Wang Lin. Its body moved, and it roared, lunging forward. Wang Lin's gaze remained calm. The immortal sword in his hand suddenly slashed down. Instantly, a flash of sword light shot straight into the beast. A loud sound echoed, and the beast immediately retreated several steps. A deep wound appeared on its chest, but it closed instantly. Wang Lin patted his storage bag, taking out the Forbidden's banner he held. With a slight shake of his arm, countless Forbidden's energies flew out from the banner. He softly shouted, "Seal!" Each Forbidden's energy transformed into a black spear. A rain of spears seemed to appear in the sky, rushing forward furiously. Countless sounds rang out as the spears quickly attached themselves to all four sides of the black flame beast, trapping it. "Explode!" Wang Lin pointed his right hand, simultaneously shouting softly, "Boom!" A loud explosion rang out, and all the spears transformed from Forbidden's artifacts detonated simultaneously. Instantly, a wave of heat spread in all directions. The moment the heat wave touched his face, a soul banner flew out from Wang Lin's storage bag. However, it wasn't the 10 billion soul banner, but the 10,000 soul banner that Wang Lin had forged. But because Li Yuanfeng's soul was the main soul within it, its power was immense. The banner trembled, and thousands of souls flew out from within. The leading soul was indeed Li Yuanfeng. But at this moment, his consciousness had been erased by Wang Lin, so he could only act on instinct. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. Instantly, thousands of soul banners let out cries of anguish. Under Li Yuanfeng's guidance, all the souls rushed towards the black flame beast that was rushing out of the Forbidden's artifact's self-destructing zone. Having finished all of this, Wang Lin looked towards the giant demon ancestor. With his early-stage transformation realm divine abilities, Wang Lin didn't believe that the opponent only had these tricks up his sleeve. He was certain the old man still had a trump card up his sleeve. Moreover, the fact that the opponent had come here certainly had a purpose. At this moment, the giant demon ancestor took a deep breath. He formed a hand seal, creating a massive magic seal before him. He let out a low growl, pushing his hands upwards. Instantly, the magic seal flew into the sky, transforming into countless small magic incantations that vanished into the heavens. At the same time, the ancestor's body moved. He flew into the air, then knelt down, bowing to the sky. Then, he shouted loudly, "The 67th generation disciple of the giant demon clan, on behalf of the clan members, uses the ancestral relics to resolve the clan's catastrophe." As soon as he finished speaking, the sky suddenly darkened. Throughout the giant demon clan, earth-shattering sounds suddenly erupted. At the easternmost point of the giant clan's territory stood an extremely high mountain. This was the highest mountain in the giant clan. From afar, it seemed to pierce straight into the clouds. At this moment, a rumbling sound suddenly erupted from the mountain, and it split in two. A giant axe, emitting a pink light, slowly rose into the air. The giant ancestor's eyes showed reverence. He stretched out his large hand. Instantly, the giant axe, radiating pink light, flashed and was grasped in his hand. In a flash, red lightning bolts spread from the axe's body throughout the giant ancestor's entire being. His hair, without any wind, fluttered. A colossal aura, unlike anything ever seen before, gradually emanated from his entire being. Wang Lin, back then, when our giant demon clan migrated to the Vermilion Bird Star, our ancestors used this giant axe to carve out the heavens and earth. Later, they went to the Immortal tribe and killed 2 9-leaf spellcasters to exchange for the land and the eternal rights of the giant demon clan here. Today, although our ancestors are gone, the giant axe still remains. Wang Lin looked at the red giant axe in the giant demon ancestor's hand. For some reason, he suddenly thought of a body he had seen in the Zhao Kingdom's Yin sect. As soon as the giant demon ancestor grasped the red axe, his entire being instantly transformed. He seemed to become a different person. A red aura emanated from the axe and flowed down his arm into his body. Immediately afterward, red energy surged from his 7 orifices, making him appear incredibly ferocious. This red energy then condensed before him and was absorbed by the axe, forming a cyclical process. The red energy flowed from the axe into his body, then radiated out again, only to be absorbed by the axe once more. This process continued incessantly, each cycle taking only about a breath. Gradually, the aura around the giant demon ancestor grew stronger and stronger. The old man stood in midair, bowing his head to look at Wang Lin, a smirk playing on his lips. Just moments ago, his left arm had been severed by Sili Guo, and now a pink aura appeared at his shoulder. Suddenly, it transformed into a large, blood-red arm. With a low growl, the giant demon ancestor swung his axe forward. Simultaneously, the left arm formed from the pink aura grasped the axe handle. Wang Lin, accept your death, the giant demon ancestor roared, charging forward. The axe in his hand instantly rose and then came down. His speed was incredibly fast. Almost in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Wang Lin, and following the momentum of the axe, he brought it down. A flash of light flickered in Wang Lin's eyes. The immortal sword in his hand was immediately raised above his head, blocking the red giant axe. Boom! A deafening sound echoed through the 9 heavens from where the axe and sword clashed. Wang Lin felt an extremely powerful force emanating from the giant axe. His body trembled instantly, a drop of fresh blood appeared at the corner of his mouth, and he quickly retreated. In an instant, he had retreated hundreds of meters. Looking back, the giant demon ancestor also spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. But his feet seemed rooted to the spot, not retreating a single step. However, it was visible to the naked eye that his body was shrinking, instantly losing a third of its size. At this moment, although the giant demon ancestor was not skin and bones, he no longer had the robust appearance he once had. A roar erupted from the giant demon ancestor's mouth. At this moment, he was like an ancient beast. His eyes glowed red, and he gripped the giant axe. His body was like a red lightning bolt, charging madly towards Wang Lin. Wang Lin, you little brat, die, the giant demon ancestor roared. He raised the giant axe in his hand again and brought it down. Wang Lin retreated, but a glint of light still flashed in his eyes. He lightly grasped the void in front of him with his right hand and whispered, Soul Banner. The sky suddenly darkened. It was as if all the light had converged before Wang Lin. A 3 jang tall illusory image of a soul banner appeared in his hand. The banner was 3 jang tall, but its surface area was even larger. The entire soul banner was purple, with 12 flickering crimson rays of light surrounding it. As soon as the soul banner appeared, countless wails and cries filled the space. It was as if countless wandering souls and ghosts were simultaneously wailing. Streams of black energy quickly rose from the ground, swirling in the air. The surrounding space became gloomy, devoid of light, as if darkness had invaded the sky, devouring the moon, stars, and even the sun. Looking back, the giant demon ancestor, who was rushing forward like a flash of lightning, suddenly slowed down. The red giant axe in his hand emitted a whirring sound. The giant demon ancestor's eyes still radiated a pink light, but there was a slight tremor, like fear. This is the soul refining sect. The giant demon ancestor took a deep breath. He vaguely recognized the origin of the soul banner, but still didn't dare to confirm it. After all, in his memory, this soul banner certainly couldn't be in Wang Lin's hands. But at this moment, the shape of the soul banner was almost completely identical to the object in his memory. Yet there was something different. The 10 billion soul banner was summoned back by Wang Lin for the first time. At this moment, at the border of the giant demon clan, the girl in purple clothes frowned, muttering, "The heaven hiding sect expelled me from the soul refining sect." So it turns out they wanted Wang Lin to inherit the 10 billion soul banner. Although this was only a clone of it, the power of the giant demon ancestor was irresistible. The woman in purple sighed softly. She had long since investigated Wang Lin's Dao heart, but still couldn't find any clues. Perhaps only by using a secret technique while the opponent was unconscious could she succeed. Thinking this, she lifted her foot, intending to leave. At this moment, she suddenly froze, turning her head to look behind her. She saw a large man in a purple robe wearing a straw hat, leisurely approaching from a distance. "Miss Liu Mi, your opponent is me." The man's body hadn't reached her yet, but his voice had already arrived. The beautiful eyes of the woman in purple glanced at him, and she whispered, "Having obtained the straw hat of Uncle Yan Q shows that you are one of the four chosen by Uncle Yan Q. But with your mid-stage transformation god cultivation, you're not enough to stop me." The man laughed heartily, saying, "Miss Liu Mi's cultivation is extraordinary. I cannot rival her. But Senior Yan Q has given instructions, and I dare not disobey. How about we have a drink and chat for a while? After a while, I will return to report back." A few strands of hair by the woman's ears still fluttered in the wind. She smiled like a lily suddenly blooming, raising her hand to cover her mouth, and said, "You are indeed an interesting person, but perhaps you should wait a moment. After I help the giant demon ancestor, we can have a drink together, shall we?" The big man shook his head and smiled, saying, "Unfortunately, Wang Lin is an old friend of mine. How can I let you leave?" The woman in purple sighed, glanced at the big man, and said, "Go. I don't want to hurt you." As she spoke, her figure moved slightly, ready to leave. The big man sat down cross-legged, his hands forming a hand seal. His primordial spirit suddenly stirred, radiating an aura of intent. Behind him, a phantom image of a man around 20 years old, with delicate features and bright eyes, appeared. After appearing, his gaze towards the burly man held a hint of longing. The woman paused once more. She turned to look at the burly man. A cold glint appeared in her eyes as she softly said, "The path of severing emotions. No wonder you've caught the attention of my master. It turns out you can understand this profound meaning. Truly, you possess great willpower and a ruthless heart." Understanding the master-disciple relationship, using intention to guide thought, using thought to recruit disciples, nurturing disciples with emotion, creating favors, expressing love with the heart, then using suffering to enter the divine realm. All of this is to immerse the entire spirit in the path of master-disciple. Finally, when he understands his own profound meaning and is about to achieve the divine realm, he kills his own disciple, killing himself in the process, causing his entire spirit to die along with his disciple. Moreover, it's not just about killing with a single blow, but about experiencing immense suffering, enduring heart-wrenching pain. Only then can one's heart be filled with profound sorrow, thus achieving the ultimate state of enlightenment through suffering. At first glance, it seems overflowing with emotion, but in reality, it's heartless. Yet, within that heartlessness lies a profound and righteous devotion. This transcendental state can only be understood by the most extraordinary individuals. That year, when Wang Lin saw the giant, he secretly lamented that he himself could not achieve such a feat. Wang Lin held the 10 billion soul banner in his hand. The primordial spirit and the soul banner merged, causing his mind to stir. The 10 billion soul banner, without wind, spontaneously fluttered, but the cries of anguish echoed from within the banner. Countless souls rushed out from the banner in a frenzy. Under the guidance of the 12 transformation-breaking main souls, all the crying souls emerged. The giant demon ancestor's expression changed drastically. He couldn't believe Wang Lin possessed such a powerful artifact. He felt immense anguish. If he had known this earlier, he wouldn't have fought this man. Fleeing would have been the best course of action. Now he was in a desperate situation, riding a tiger. He had no choice but to continue. Retreating now would only lead to death. The only way to survive was to fight to the death. The giant demon ancestor's eyes were like those of a madman. He roared, his body rapidly descending, his speed 3 times faster than before. At the same time, he raised his giant axe high and shouted, "Ancestors, protect me. Help me kill this man." Suddenly, a pink lightning bolt flashed across the sky. In the instant it streaked across, the ground seemed to be stained crimson. Under the divine power of the lightning, the giant demon ancestor's figure flickered as if he were there and then gone. At this moment, only a single bolt of lightning illuminated the sky. Suddenly, the lightning struck directly at Wang Lin. As it descended, the image of a giant axe was revealed within. Wang Lin stared at the red lightning in front of him, his eyes calm. He pointed his hand towards the lightning and shouted, "Soul banner, devour." 10 billion soul banners shrieked in the air. As the red lightning approached, 12 nascent soul main souls suddenly rushed out. Their cultivation was no different from 12 nascent soul cultivators. The 12 main souls simultaneously raised their hands, performing various divine abilities. At the same time, a golden thread instantly emerged from the bodies of the 12 golden purple main souls, intertwining with each other. Instantly, they formed a net surrounding the red lightning. Simultaneously, around the net, more than 1,000,000 souls, as if receiving a call from the main souls, rushed in from all directions with a world-destroying aura. If viewed from above, the 12 main souls stood in a circle. Outside the circle were countless souls. At this moment, all the souls leapt into the circle. Boom, boom, boom. As the souls jumped into the circle, the heavens and earth trembled. It was basically impossible to see the scene inside. Only the faint cries of the giant demon ancestor could be heard. But at this moment, a pink light, as if splitting the heavens and earth, flashed out from within, opening a hole. The giant demon ancestor, now just skin and bones, almost devoid of life, rushed out wielding his giant axe. After appearing, he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His gloomy eyes turned to look at Wang Lin with malice. He was trying to escape, but it was too late. The countless souls once again shrieked and charged forward. The 12 main souls, purple-yellow in color, let out shrill laughter and continued their attack. The giant demon ancestor let out a bitter laugh. 1,000,000,000 soul banners, even a peak-level cultivator could withstand them, let alone him. At this moment, although he held his ancestor's battle axe, his cultivation level was insufficient to unleash its full power. A flash of light flickered in his eyes, and he roared. He swung the giant axe, slashing towards Wang Lin. The axe shattered all the obstructing souls, reaching its target in an instant. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, a hint of fear in his heart. In a flash, as the axe approached, he raised his immortal sword to block it. Boom! Blood flowed from the corner of Wang Lin's mouth again, and he was pushed back several meters. The axe was flung away, falling to the ground hundreds of meters away. The giant demon ancestor's face turned pale, his eyes filled with madness, glaring at Wang Lin with extreme malice. He raised both hands, took a deep breath, and then his primordial spirit trembled, his voice low and menacing. Divine talent. The reason he hadn't unleashed his divine talent until now was because if he used it before successfully possessing another body, it would cause immense damage to his primordial spirit. It could even shatter it, tantamount to suicide. Only when the body was completely fused could he unleash his divine talent without danger, because then the powerful backlash would be absorbed by the body. Although it would still reach the primordial spirit, it could still be tolerated. Wang Lin's eyes were icy cold as he glanced at the giant demon ancestor. Then, without saying a word, he pointed at the soul banner. Instantly, the soul shrieked and lunged forward. Wang Lin had to kill the giant demon ancestor. This man knew he possessed the heaven-defying pearl. He couldn't let him live. The entire sky seemed to be stirred by an invisible hand. In an instant, a massive vortex appeared above the giant demon ancestor. The scene was exactly like when Wang Lin saw him fighting Sun Tai. At this moment, countless souls surrounded the giant demon ancestor, tearing at him and emitting wailing cries. The giant demon ancestor laughed like a madman. Turn, the large vortex above his head suddenly moved. Instantly, a powerful suction force appeared. After the suction force appeared, the souls surrounding the ancestor immediately cried out in agony and were sucked into the vortex. Wang Lin felt a huge suction force enveloping his entire body, causing him to involuntarily fly towards the vortex. Wang Lin, even if my primordial spirit is destroyed, I will still make sure you are trapped in the starry sky. The giant demon ancestor roared. Countless souls were now clinging to his body, especially the 12 souls of the nascent soul stage, which had entered his body and were devouring his primordial spirit. His body was now completely devoid of flesh and blood. Even his primordial spirit had been torn apart and was no longer intact. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. He turned to look at the giant demon ancestor, a slight smile playing on his lips, and softly said, "Devouring." As soon as he finished speaking, the devouring speed of the souls suddenly increased. The giant demon ancestor let out several mournful groans. Finally, his primordial spirit vanished into thin air. The giant demon ancestor's life was over. But his innate divine abilities had also been unleashed. Wang Lin's body was sucked into the vortex. Just before being sucked in, Wang Lin lightly flicked his right hand. All the souls rushed forward, forming a lotus flower that enveloped his body, resisting the vortex. Utilizing the resistance of the lotus flower, Wang Lin used his hands to activate the formation he had previously set up in the valley. At this moment, the vortex's suction force intensified. He let out a low roar, summoning all the souls. Of course, the giant ancestor's storage bag couldn't be overlooked either. After collecting the storage bag, Wang Lin felt the gravitational pull intensify to an unstoppable degree. A glint flashed in his eyes as he looked towards the giant axe a short distance away. He raised his right hand and grabbed at the air. A force of resistance emanated from the giant axe. Wang Lin exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, his body was being rapidly pulled into the vortex by the gravitational force. Wang Lin raised his hand again, concentrating all his spiritual power, and softly shouted, "Retrieve." The giant axe again resisted, but this time Wang Lin still managed to grab it. The axe's resistance grew stronger and stronger, trying to break free from Wang Lin's grasp. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and he lightly tapped his left hand. Instantly, several purple-yellow souls shrieked and flew out, surrounding the giant axe. At this moment, half of Wang Lin's body had already entered the vortex. In the instant his entire body was sucked in, he grabbed the giant axe, put it into his storage bag, and then disappeared from the vermilion bird star. In the blink of an eye, the vortex vanished. Only the incomplete corpse of the giant demon ancestor remained on the ground. Until his death, he never had the chance to break the seal on his clansmen. He could only watch helplessly as the giant demon clan plummeted thousands of feet. In the starry sky outside the vermilion bird star, Wang Lin suddenly appeared. His face was pale, devoid of any color. What powerful divine abilities! If the giant demon ancestor had reached the mid or late stage of the transformation realm, the formation I had set up wouldn't have been able to stop him. Wang Lin thought for a moment, then patted his storage bag. Instantly, the star compass flew out. He sat on the star compass and flew rapidly towards the vermilion bird star. Li Yuanfeng and the giant demon ancestor have also perished. The vermilion bird kingdom will know about this very soon. The most important thing right now is to help Waner overcome the heavenly cycle of reincarnation for the second time. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, and the speed of the star compass increased rapidly. Half a month later, the vermilion bird star appeared in his sight. From afar, the vermilion bird star looked very small. Beside it was a small planet. That was where Wang Lin had entered after returning from the immortal realm due to a teleportation error. Wang Lin pondered for a moment, then an idea struck him. The direction of the star compass changed, flying towards the small planet. The star compass, like a shooting star, pierced through the atmosphere surrounding the planet. Immediately, Wang Lin saw a continuous mountain range below. In midair, the star compass lost its function. Wang Lin jumped down and flew away. He lightly waved his right hand, collecting the star compass and putting it into his storage bag. Then, like a flash of lightning, he disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was thousands of miles away. The spiritual energy here was not as dense as on the vermilion bird star. It could be said to be very faint. Moreover, it contained many impurities, unsuitable for cultivators to absorb. Along the way, Wang Lin felt no sense of unfamiliarity with the place. With extremely fast speed, after only one day, he arrived at the summit of a large mountain. After manifesting, Wang Lin used his divine consciousness to scan the surroundings and immediately saw a teleportation array on the mountaintop. It's still here. Wang Lin stood outside the teleportation array and observed for a moment. Years ago, when he left the immortal realm, he was teleported here through this teleportation array. Similarly, when he left, he also passed through it. Killing Li Yuanfeng and the giant demon ancestor will certainly attract attention. I shouldn't return yet. It's best to cultivate here for a few years, then quietly return. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and he sat down cross-legged. His body instantly split into two. The gaze of his main body was icy cold. After stomping his foot, his body merged into the earth. The planet's size was only about 1/10 of the vermilion bird star. With his 3-star ancient god body, he could completely withstand the pressure. He plunged straight into the planet's core, diving into the molten rock at its heart. Then, he sat down cross-legged and began to absorb the energy. Wang Lin patted his storage bag. Instantly, a pink light flew out from within. After appearing before him, it transformed into a giant axe. A pink light, along with killing intent, emanated from the axe. Wang Lin stared at the axe for a moment. His divine consciousness briefly moved, intending to leave a mark on it. But as soon as his divine consciousness touched it, a powerful force surged from within, repelling Wang Lin's divine consciousness. Interesting? A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He formed a hand seal, and his primordial spirit immediately left his body to confront the giant axe. Unexpectedly, his primordial spirit opened its mouth and sucked in the axe, causing it to tremble. Finally, the axe transformed into a pink light and was swallowed by his primordial spirit. At this moment, his primordial spirit contained two objects. One was the 10-breath soul banner, and the second was the pink giant axe. His primordial spirit briefly moved and then retreated back into his body. This axe certainly contains an axe soul. I don't need to force it out. I'll use the soul banner to suppress it and my primordial spirit to refine it. Let's see how much the axe soul can withstand. Wang Lin sneered, taking out a storage bag. This storage bag belonged to the giant demon ancestor. He lightly flicked his right hand, leaving behind his own divine consciousness. After scanning it with his divine consciousness, all the items in the bag appeared in his mind. The giant demon ancestor's storage bag contained many valuable items. There were dozens of immortal jade blocks and a few top-grade spirit stones. There were also a few magical artifacts. However, their power wasn't outstanding. After all, for the giant demon clan, their true magical artifact was their body. They possessed some external objects but didn't use them much. However, two things caught Wang Lin's attention. One of them was a red jade bottle. Inside the red bottle was a liquid as red as blood. Wang Lin examined it carefully and confirmed it was indeed real blood. However, when he sensed it, he felt a strange sense of familiarity. The jade bottle lay neatly in a corner of his storage bag. Holding the bottle, Wang Lin pondered for a moment. Then a sudden flash of insight appeared in his eyes. He remembered that when he annihilated the Tang family of Zhao Kingdom, a member of the Tang family had a similar object on their body. That object contained a trace of the blood of an ancient god. Back then, using that blood could unleash the divine techniques of the ancient god clan. Wang Lin's eyes lit up with excitement. Although I cultivated the ancient god technique to become an ancient god, I still relied on my own cultivation. Back then, I only inherited the memories of the ancient god diagram, not the power, so I couldn't use some of his divine techniques. This item is extremely rare, whether for me to absorb or to use in my divine techniques. With this, whatever I lost in the recent battle will be worth it. Wang Lin took a deep breath and carefully placed the small bottle into his storage bag. In the giant demon ancestor's storage bag, there was another item that caught Wang Lin's attention. It was a Dharma wheel. Its size wasn't very large, only a little over an inch. Its appearance was quite ordinary, with nothing particularly attractive or radiating any spiritual energy. In fact, some parts were slightly rusty. Wang Lin paid attention to it because Su Liguo had previously mentioned that it contained a sealed soul. Su Liguo had begged him to release that soul. Su Liguo's plea made Wang Lin wary. He understood Su Liguo very well. After all, in a way, Su Liguo was created by him. Su Liguo possessed a part of a wandering soul. That characteristic was closely related to how Su Liguo transformed into a demon all those years ago. From then on, Su Liguo's consciousness gradually recovered, eventually becoming the sword spirit he is now. Su Liguo's personality could be described as cowardly, yet at times arrogant to the point of disobedience. He was a very complex demon. Yet he begged Wang Lin to release the soul within the Dharma wheel. This made Wang Lin suspicious. Interesting? A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. With his intelligence, he quickly figured out half the situation. This proved that the giant demon ancestor had used the soul within the Dharma wheel to lure Su Liguo, thus making Su Liguo come to him on his own. Glancing at the Dharma wheel, Wang Lin took out his immortal sword from his storage bag. After the immortal sword appeared, a cloud of black smoke flew out and condensed into Su Liguo. As soon as he materialized, he let out a strange howl, his eyes emitting bizarre light as he stared at the Dharma wheel. Master, this is indeed the Dharma wheel. There's a soul inside it. Release her quickly. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he spoke slowly. What kind of soul is inside the Dharma wheel? How do you know? It was summoned by the giant demon ancestor. Master, release her quickly. Siliguo's face showed anxiety. Wang Lin glanced at Siliguo and said, "What is the cultivation level of the soul?" The anxiety on Siliguo's face intensified. He could vaguely hear the fairy little sister inside the Dharma Hul calling out, urging him to rescue her. Therefore, he impatiently said, "It's just a soul, it has no cultivation. If you don't save her, I'll go myself." Siliguo himself didn't realize that after he appeared and saw the Dharma wheel, he had forgotten his fear of Wang Lin. Even his tone had suddenly changed. A mysterious glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes as he smiled and said, "Don't rush, I'll help you release that soul." As he spoke, Wang Lin formed hand seals and sent a beam of spiritual light onto the Dharma wheel. But at that moment, a faint light suddenly appeared, neutralizing Wang Lin's spiritual light. Wang Lin let out a small exclamation, carefully examining the Dharma wheel. Before him, the Dharma wheel seemed unremarkable. However, the fact that it could emit light and neutralize spiritual light caught his attention. Just now, when the light appeared, Wang Lin hadn't detected any fluctuations in spiritual power on the Dharma wheel. After observing it for a while, Wang Lin raised his right hand again, sending out another beam of spiritual light. His gaze was fixed on it, and he saw 10 strange symbols appear on the Dharma wheel. These symbols appeared at a very fast speed, flashing briefly before disappearing. Simultaneously, the faint light reappeared, neutralizing the spiritual power. Interesting? Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. At this moment, Siliguo could no longer maintain his patience. Without a word, his body flashed, and he flew out of the immortal sword towards the Dharma wheel. Wang Lin stared at Siliguo, a cold glint in his eyes. Siliguo's behavior was extremely strange. Just as Siliguo rushed towards the Dharma wheel, the symbols on it flashed. A sudden burst of light appeared, striking Siliguo and causing him to cry out in pain, then being thrown back a meter. At this moment, his eyes turned bloodshot, and he roared in anger, preparing to attack again. Wang Lin lightly pointed his right hand at the void, instantly imprisoning Siliguo. Siliguo turned his head and glared at Wang Lin, shouting, "What do you want to do? Release me? I want to release her." Wang Lin coldly glanced at Siliguo. For a moment, Siliguo's body trembled, his eyes regaining a little clarity. He glanced fearfully at the Dharma wheel and hurriedly said, Master, you can't blame me. I just saw the Dharma wheel and couldn't control myself anymore." Wang Lin ignored Siliguo. He grabbed the Dharma wheel with his right hand. His left thumb pressed down on the strange symbols that were flashing. At that moment, the symbols flashed continuously, and the light reappeared. Wang Lin snorted softly, and without hesitation, pressed down again. The light was immediately shattered, and then his thumb rested on the Dharma wheel. Several cracking sounds rang out, and countless cracks appeared on the Dharma wheel. These cracks spread rapidly, almost instantly covering the entire Dharma wheel with cracks before shattering. In an instant, a stream of pink light shot out from within. Simultaneously, countless clear, bell-like laughs emerged, imbued with a magical power that stirred the heart. The laughter was filled with something bizarre, causing Siliguo's imprisoned spiritual power to melt like ice and snow in a flame. In a flash, Siliguo regained his freedom. His eyes were filled with a desperate longing, and he swiftly flew towards the pink light. The light flickered, transforming into a captivating and alluring woman. She wore a thin garment, revealing her skin. At this moment, she glanced at Siliguo and laughed heartily, saying, "Brother Su, little sister has waited for you for so long, why did you only rescue me now?" As she spoke, she pointed her delicate finger towards Siliguo. Her expression was no different from that of a young lover coquettishly teasing her partner. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. The moment the woman appeared, his mind was shaken. Fortunately, he cultivated the soul-locking technique, and his mind was connected to the 10 billion soul banner, allowing him to recover quickly. But even that brief moment was enough to terrify him. One must know that in a battle, even a moment of distraction like that would be certain death. "You dare to display such demonic magic in front of me?" Wang Lin snorted coldly. His voice was like thunder striking the ears of Siliguo and the woman, creating a rumbling sound. Siliguo's body trembled slightly, his eyes suddenly snapping back to reality. Being a demon, he reacted immediately after being awakened by Wang Lin. Feeling terrified, he quickly retreated. The woman turned sharply to stare at Wang Lin. Suddenly, she broke into a seductive smile. At this moment, it seemed as if all the surrounding light had vanished, leaving only her radiant smile. "How cruel! I have not offended you." Her eyelashes trembled as she spoke in a mournful voice. Her voice carried a strange, hypnotic power that poured into Wang Lin's ears, causing his mind to tremble. Suligu's body trembled even more. The clarity in his eyes vanished, replaced by pure despair. The woman smiled triumphantly, her body moving slightly as she raised her hand and swiftly flew forward. Her claw nearly touched Wang Lin's forehead. But at this moment, a sudden glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes, concealing a hint of killing intent. The woman cried out in alarm, realizing something was wrong. She was about to retreat when Wang Lin's right hand swiftly swung up. Instantly, the soul banner appeared, shaking violently. Li Yuanfeng immediately materialized, leading thousands of souls. The woman let out another frightened cry and, without hesitation, quickly dodged away. Li Yuanfeng's soul immediately rushed out, along with the souls of several vassal states, surrounding the woman. Just as they were about to devour her, a strange light flashed in her eyes, and she smiled seductively, saying, "Brothers, why are you surrounding me? We are not enemies, are we?" As soon as her clear laughter rang out, Li Yuanfeng's soul was shaken, his face bewildered. The surrounding souls were even more stunned. They all stopped, staring blankly at the woman. "He bullied me. Can you help me kill him? After killing him, I will compensate you all." The woman's face flushed. As soon as she finished speaking, Li Yuanfeng's soul trembled. It turned and, along with the other souls, lunged towards Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, completely ignoring the group of spirits. He pointed his right hand backward, and instantly, Siligo let out a pained cry. He was standing behind Wang Lin and had been seduced by her alluring voice, intending to launch a sneak attack. Wang Lin's finger strike injured him instantly. The dark energy surrounding him slowly dissipated, causing him to hastily retreat. His eyes immediately regained their clarity. At this moment, deep down, he felt immense fear of Wang Lin, having overcome the woman's charm. He inwardly cursed, wondering why he had lost his mind and attacked this killer. All his previous efforts in slaying the giant demon ancestor were now lost. "You slut, it's all your fault for seducing me." Siligo grew increasingly angry, pointing at the woman's face and shouting. Her expression was one of utter resentment, and she was about to speak when Li Yuanfeng, leading the group of spirits, attacked. Wang Lin pointed his right hand at the air, his mind trembling slightly. Instantly, the souls all let out a mournful groan. Even Li Yuanfeng's soul dispersed. "Enough, come here." Wang Lin's right hand grabbed at the void. Immediately, the woman cried out in fear and tried to dodge. But her body seemed to be bound by something invisible, allowing Wang Lin to capture her. Carefully observing the woman, Wang Lin slowly discerned the mystery. Within the woman's soul was a trace of profound meaning. This profound meaning was very powerful, capable of bewitching everything in the world. A soul with profound meaning, very good. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. "What is your name?" The woman remained silent for a moment, then gasped, staring intently at Wang Lin, saying, "I haven't offended you. Why are you capturing me?" Her hurried breathing held a hint of allure and charm. Wang Lin coldly glanced at the woman. He touched her forehead with his right hand, and instantly a look of pain appeared on her face. Finally, she let out a heart-wrenching cry. Black smoke billowed from her entire body, threatening to dissipate at any moment. "My name is Meig, my name is Meig," the woman hastily said, her eyes filled with fear as she looked at Wang Lin. Since she gained consciousness, no one had met her without being captivated. Even the original giant demon ancestor was initially enchanted. Although he later awoke, he couldn't bring himself to kill her, only able to seal her away. After being sealed, she constantly sought opportunities to escape. It wasn't until she met Su Liguo that she easily enchanted him. Sure enough, Su Liguo rescued her. But no matter what, she never imagined there could be such a person in the world as the one standing before her. All her attempts at enchantment were useless against him. He even ruthlessly harmed her. "What kind of mental state is within your body?" Wang Lin asked coldly. The reason he wasn't enchanted by her was due to his experience and his own cultivation of the god-locking technique. 500 years of cultivation, Wang Lin had never been close to women. His heart was far more resolute than that of the giant demon ancestor. Furthermore, the soul-locking technique was the highest divine ability of the soul-refining sect. Besides controlling soul banners, it also had the effect of being impervious to all evil. It was because of this that he could control billions of souls without worrying about backlash. The woman looked at Wang Lin fearfully, not daring to display her mental state anymore, and whispered, "I don't know the reason either. This mental state appeared in my body when I awakened." Wang Lin pondered for a moment. In his opinion, her cultivation was only equivalent to a core formation cultivator. However, she possessed a kind of mental state that even Li Yuanfeng, a nascent soul cultivator, was captivated by. This woman is probably just a fragment of the primordial spirit of some senior expert after it shattered. That's why she possesses such a powerful mental state. That kind of mental state is related to desire. Perhaps that's the case. A glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He formed a hand seal with his right hand, casting a seal on the woman. Then the soul banner vibrated slightly, drawing her inside. Siliguo hastily changed his tone to a fawning one, cautiously saying, "Master, there's nothing else to do now. I'll leave first." After saying that, he quickly transformed into a black stream of energy and entered the immortal sword, not daring to show his face. Wang Lin suppressed a laugh and ignored Siliguo. He took a deep breath and patted his storage bag. The immortal jade pagoda flew out and landed in the open space beside him. A wisp of Zhao Yi's divine consciousness immediately spread out, covering an area of several hundred miles. As soon as the pagoda appeared, Zhou Aryu immediately ran out from inside. Upon seeing Wang Lin, she became angry, pouting and saying, "Bad uncle. You're a bad uncle. I don't like you." Little White also nodded hastily, following Zhou Aryu. Upon appearing, it quickly knelt on the ground. At this moment, its appearance was pale and sickly. "I never imagined that I, a mighty tiger spirit, would have to eat fruit for months and not even get a full meal. Not even a bit of meat to nibble on. How miserable." Little White growled softly, tears welling up in its eyes. Several times, it almost couldn't resist the urge to eat Zhou Aryu. But as soon as the thought crossed its mind, the image of Wang Lin dealing with it flashed before it, making it afraid to think about it. Besides, having spent some time with Zhou Aryu, it could sense a terrifying force slowly growing within her body, making it worrying that it wouldn't have a chance to devour her before the little girl knocked out its teeth. "Bad uncle, look, even Little White has gotten thinner." "We've only been eating fruit for months." Zhou Aryu glared at Wang Lin, displeased. Actually, not only Little White but she herself had lost some weight. Wang Lin touched his nose. He had completely forgotten. After all, he hadn't eaten human food for over 400 years. He hadn't remembered that Zhou Aryu still needed to eat rice. Fortunately, before bringing Zhou Aryu inside, he had picked a lot of fruit for her to snack on. Moreover, there was a lot of immortal energy in the pagoda. Even if he didn't absorb it, it would nourish the human body, providing some benefits. Wang Lin was sweating profusely. Even when he encountered the old monster and bin, he wasn't so embarrassed that he was speechless. "Sorry, Uncle forgot. It definitely won't happen again next time," Wang Lin hastily promised. Zhou Aryu raised her eyebrows, glanced at Wang Lin, then pouted and said, "Even if Uncle makes a promise now, it won't work. Last time you promised me a big tiger and still haven't delivered. This time you're promising again. I don't believe you." Wang Lin gave a wry smile and said, "All right, Little Aryu, Uncle will take you to catch a big tiger. I remember there seem to be some demonic beasts living around here." Zhou Aryu, still somewhat childish, was delighted when he said that, clapping her hands and saying, "This time, Uncle must keep his word. Shall we go now?" Wang Lin's eyes softened slightly as he patted Chiru's head and smiled, replying, "Let's go now." Zhou Aryu nodded. She thought for a moment and then said, "Uncle, I don't know why, but for the past few days, I've been dreaming every day. In my dreams, I often see a big sister walking beside you. That sister looks very familiar. It's so strange." Wang Lin was shocked to hear this. He lowered his head and looked at Zhou Aryu intently. After a while, he sighed, looked up at the sky, and whispered, "Water. In about 6 more years, you can fully awaken." Chu Aryu looked at Wang Lin with a hint of fear in her eyes. "Uncle, little Aryu is a monster," Chu Aryu whispered. Little White, lying beside them, nodded several times upon hearing this. It thought to itself, she really is a monster. Otherwise, how could a mighty tiger spirit like me be bullied by a little girl like you, and even forced to leave the mountains and forests, leaving behind those beautiful tigresses? Oh, Wang Lin was startled, lowered his head, stroked Chiru's head, and said, "Little Aryu, what's wrong?" A tear rolled down Chiru's cheek as she sobbed. "Little Aryu is a monster. Uncle, little Aryu is a monster." Actually, more than a year ago, little Aryu felt a baby inside her. "Uncle, I'm so scared." Wang Lin silently looked at Chu Aryu, unable to say a word. After a while, he stroked Chiru's head and whispered, "Little Aryu isn't a monster. She's not." Chu Aryu threw herself into Wang Lin's arms, clutching his clothes and saying, "Uncle, I could feel it moving in my dreams. And it looked exactly like my sister in my dreams. Uncle, little Aryu is so scared. Can you get her out?" Her small hand clung tightly to Wang Lin's clothes, refusing to let go, afraid he would disappear. Perhaps it was just a way for her to feel safer. Wang Lin was stunned to hear this. To be precise, at this moment, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning. "Why is this happening?" Wang Lin murmured, his eyes filled with complex emotions. Back then, Li Muan was Chu Aryu, and Chu Aryu was Li Muan. But why was Chu Aryu now driving Li Muan away? Could it be that when Li Muan's nascent soul possessed her, it couldn't replace the child's soul? Wang Lin was shocked. He had been too busy battling the heavenly Tao to observe closely back then. If that's the case, then Li Muan's nascent soul will gradually devour Churu's soul in the future. Moreover, the moment it awakens, it will completely replace Chu Aryu as the master of the body. Wang Lin's eyes were somewhat hazy. "Uncle, little Aryu is so scared. Can you take her out?" Chu Aryu looked up, wiping away her tears, and whispered, "Did I do something wrong?" Wang Lin looked at Chu Aryu, a pang of pain in his heart. "Little Aryu, there's nothing to be afraid of. The baby inside you sees you as its older sister. Everything will be all right." Wang Lin smiled at Chu Aryu, but his smile held a strange quality. "Really, Uncle isn't lying to me, is he?" Chu Aryu opened her large, clear eyes, devoid of any impurity. In those eyes, Wang Lin saw only affection and trust. Really, Wang Lin's heart ached. He knew what choice he had to make. Sometimes, choosing something meant sacrificing the other person's life. Why is that? Wang Lin's eyes showed a pained expression. Although Chu Aryu was young, her heart was very sensitive. She looked at Wang Lin, then buried her head in his chest, whispering, "Uncle, don't be sad. Little Aryu feels bad when she sees you sad. I won't say anything more. I believe you. If you say it's all right, then it's all right. Uncle, you just agreed to take little Aryu to catch a tiger, right?" Wang Lin looked at Chu Aryu and nodded. He wiped away her tears and said, "Uncle will take you to catch a tiger." As he spoke, he embraced Chu Aryu and flew into the sky. Chu Aryu smiled brightly, but in Wang Lin's eyes, that smile was nothing more than a silent cry. "Uncle, take Little Bai with you to HMPH. Little Bai is disobedient. This time, Uncle will catch a big tiger for me. Let's see if Little Bai will listen then. If he doesn't listen, I'll have the big tiger bite him." Little Bai trembled and roared. In its heart, it angrily thought, "I'm a mighty tiger spirit." Before it could finish its thought, Wang Lin snatched it from above. Then it, along with Wang Lin and Chu Aryu, disappeared. "Uncle, little Aryu is 13 years old now. There are some things I understand clearly. You're different from Grandpa Taiyan. When you're with little Aryu, I can sense that the person you care about isn't me, but the child inside my body. Grandpa Taiyan is different. What he cares about is me. I know, initially, you snatched me from that Taoist priest not for me, but for the little sister inside my body. In my dream, I met my sister. She's very beautiful. But later, when little Aryu grows up, she will definitely be more beautiful than her uncle. You shouldn't leave me behind." While flying, Chu Aryu still buried her head in Wang Lin's chest. She tried to hold back her tears, thinking to herself, On this planet, mountains abounded with sparse vegetation. There was no human habitation whatsoever. Even cultivators were extremely rare. After all, not many cultivators could break through the obstacles and enter the starry sky. At the very least, they needed to reach the nascent soul stage. And even then, they still needed a star compass. Otherwise, traveling in the starry sky would be extremely difficult. Wang Lin carried Chu Ryu and Little White flying through the planet's sky. Mountain ranges whizzed past below their feet. Occasionally, Chu Ru's frightened cries could be heard. To the north of the planet lay a patch of forest. There, Wang Lin had captured a large tiger for Chu Ryu. The tiger was purple, 3 jang long, and looked very fierce. What surprised Wang Lin was that its intelligence hadn't yet awakened. It wasn't as intelligent as Little White. However, within its body lay a strange power. When it roared, it sent sand and rocks flying, equivalent to a late-stage bamboo-dwelling cultivator. Wang Lin dealt with it with ease. After leaving a mark of Chu Ryu to prevent it from betraying its master, he gave it to her. Chu Ryu, who loved the tiger very much, immediately dragged it to Little White. From now on, I'll call you Little Purple. Chu Ryu clapped her hands, sitting on Little Purple's back, and said happily. Little White nodded, inwardly disdainful. It thought to itself, how could a mighty tiger spirit like itself be as stupid as that little brat? Thinking this, it unintentionally roared at the purple tiger. Unexpectedly, the purple tiger turned its head and roared back at Little White. Its voice was like thunder. Zibai let out a cry, its fur bristling, and quickly retreated several meters. Its small eyes stared at the purple tiger with a hint of fear, not daring to approach. This scene made Chu Ryu clap her hands happily, saying, Zibai, you can't beat ZZ, can you? Wang Lin stood beside them, silently watching Chu Ru's joyful face. To be precise, he didn't have much affection for Chu Ryu. If anything, it was only the fatherly affection he felt for her as she grew up over the years. The only thing he cared about was Li Muan. The day Li Muan's nascent soul awakened was also the day Chu Ru's soul was devoured. At that moment, the two could not coexist. If Li Muan's nascent soul had been removed earlier, Chu Ryu would have escaped death, but Li Muan had disappeared. After all, at this moment, Li Muan's nascent soul was in a deep sleep, recovering. If you take it out before you awaken, it will certainly dissipate. In Wang Lin's heart, he knew very well who was more important and who was less important, so he didn't dwell on it. However, the fact that Li Muan's nascent soul had to be restored for his own benefit, at the cost of a child, caused him some remorse. Although he had killed countless people in his life, he had never felt ashamed of anyone who died at his hands, neither before his conscience nor before heaven and earth. Though he was a demon, he wasn't completely heartless. Spring passed, autumn arrived. 2 years flew by in the blink of an eye. At this time, Chu Ryu was 15 years old, only 4 years away from Li Muan's awakening. In those 2 years, Chu Ru's body had gradually matured, becoming a true young woman. At night, her dreams of Li Muan became more frequent. During those 2 years, Wang Lin diligently cultivated. The suffering in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Choosing Li Muan was the obvious choice. But how to preserve Li Muan's original spirit without harming the child was something he had been thinking about for the past 2 years. Chu Ru's words became increasingly infrequent. She often sat on Zizi's back, staring blankly at the sky. Zibai always followed behind. Zibai, the sister in my body, is slowly awakening. I can feel that when she fully awakens, it will be time for me to leave. Zibai, can you hear me? I will ask Uncle to return you to the mountains and forests. Zibai, will you still think of me after this? Chu Ryu whispered. Zibai looked up at Chu Ryu, its eyes filled with a complex emotion. In recent years, although Chu Ryu often bullied it, it actually felt that Chu Ryu loved it very much. Sometimes, when it saw ZZ bullying it, it would show favoritism and discipline ZZ. It knew all of that. Although Little White was a tiger spirit, it felt sad at this moment. It nodded at Chu Ryu. Chu Ryu smiled and jumped down from Little Z's back. She walked to Little White, stroked its fur, and whispered, Little White. When I'm gone, will Uncle miss me? Little White let out a low growl and looked at Chu Ryu. Chu Ryu stroked Little White's fur, her eyes somewhat vacant. She looked up at the distant mountain where a figure sat cross-legged. She thought to herself, Uncle, Little Ryu has thought it through. Every day you look at me, you're only looking at my sister inside my body. I know she's very important to you, so little Aryu knows what to do. Churu's eyes welled up with tears. She turned to look at the foolish little Z, smiling, "Little Z, when I'm gone, you have to take care of yourself." Wang Lin, sitting cross-legged on the mountaintop, was actually searching for a solution. Heavenly Tao, I, Wang Lin, will confront you. He didn't want to be toyed with by the Heavenly Tao. Wang Lin remained silent, lost in thought. Uncle, can you come down for a moment? Chu Aryu called from below. Wang Lin lowered his head to look at Chu Aryu. His gaze was somewhat complex. Then, he stood up and descended beside Chu Aryu. Uncle, sit down. Little Aryu wants to comb your hair. Churu's face was completely innocent and naive as she smiled. She held a wooden comb in her hand. It was the one Tai Yan had given her years ago. Without waiting for Wang Lin to speak, she pulled him to a rock. After Wang Lin sat down, she stood behind him, carefully combing his hair with the wooden comb. Her expression was extremely focused. After a while, she whispered, "Uncle, can you tell little Aryu a little about your past with your sister?" A memory of water, which he had spoken, fell into Churu's ears. Her small hands gently combed Wang Lin's hair while she listened. "Uncle, if I die prematurely, will Sister Water never awaken?" Chu Aryu put down the wooden comb and said. Wang Lin turned around. Chu Aryu gazed intently at Wang Lin, her eyes filled with pain, and said, "Uncle? In your eyes, is little Aryu just a tool to awaken Sister Water? From childhood to adulthood, I've always considered you family. Uncle, I want you to look at me directly, not at Sister Water. Look at me truly, even if only once." Wang Lin looked at Chu Aryu in silence for a moment, then said, "Little Aryu, I've troubled you. Rest now." After saying this, he turned and walked away, disappearing from sight. The wooden comb in Churu's hand fell to the ground. She crouched down and wept, tears slowly streaming down her face. "Uncle, I'm so scared," Chu Aryu sobbed. Wang Lin, standing far away, trembled slightly. His expression changed constantly. "Ruer, if it were you, what would you choose?" Little White had disappeared. Little White had vanished secretly, but Wang Lin could still see it quietly leaving the mountain. Chu Aryu was deeply distressed and fell seriously ill because of Little White's departure. In her dreams, she constantly called out Little White's name. In Churu's innocent heart, although she often bullied Little White, she loved it dearly. Even with the addition of Little Z, Little White held a very high place in her heart. It could be said that Little White was her only friend. But when Wang Lin wanted to go find Little White and bring it back, Chu Aryu stopped him. She looked at Wang Lin with pleading eyes and said, "Little White has to go. It has its own choice. It is much happier than you, Ruer. At least it has a choice." Wang Lin felt a pang in his heart. He sighed and silently stepped outside. He continued to ponder a comprehensive plan for the next 4 years. He already had a plan in mind. "Uncle doesn't pay attention to me. Little White, you left me too." A month later, Chu Aryu recovered from her illness. However, she fell into complete silence, often staring blankly into the distance. 2 months later, one early morning, a weak but somewhat excited tiger roar echoed. Immediately afterward, Little White appeared in Churu's sight. In an instant, it was beside her. In its mouth was a pink branch with a small fruit on it. Little White had returned. Chu Aryu looked at Little White and wept with joy. "Little White, you didn't leave me." Little White, Chu Aryu hugged Little White, tears streaming down her face. However, a smile lingered on her lips. Little White was very thin. Its fur was missing in many places, and it had several wounds. It no longer had its former arrogance, but was utterly exhausted. Even its belly bore a wound. At this moment, although the wound had scabbed over, a little fresh blood still seeped out, wetting its fur. Little White dropped a twig from its mouth to the ground. It licked Churu's face with its tongue. Then its large head turned to carefully observe its surroundings. Finally, after confirming that Wang Lin wasn't there, it tugged at Churu's clothes and touched a fruit on the ground with its paw. "Little White, what do you want?" Chu Aryu was startled and picked up the fruit from the ground. Little White looked around anxiously. It hurriedly gestured for Chu Aryu to eat it quickly. "Little White, you want me to eat this fruit?" Chu Aryu, having lived with Little White for a long time, understood its meaning. Chu Aryu held the fruit in her hand, looked at it for a moment, and said, "Little White. What kind of fruit is this? This is a shattered blossom fruit." Wang Lin's voice echoed from afar. Instantly, Little White's fur bristled, shielding Chu Lin as he gazed into the distance and let out a low growl. Wang Lin slowly approached from a distance. The moment Little White turned back, he noticed it and recognized what this gluttonous creature was holding in its beak. What a good tiger spirit protecting its master! Wang Lin glanced at Little White. Little White's eyes showed fear, but it still bared its teeth and growled softly, protecting Chu Aryu. With its years of cultivation, it had realized there was a nascent soul within Churu's body. This nascent soul was the source of its fear back then. "Uncle, what is the shattered soul fruit?" Chu Aryu stroked Little White's fur, asking in a low voice. "Eating this shattered soul fruit, although water in your body won't die, she will be extremely weak," Wang Lin said slowly. Chu Aryu was stunned, lowered her head to look at Little White, and softly said, "Little White, so you've been searching for this fruit for me all these months." She sighed softly, the fruit in her hand falling to the ground, rolling a few times before landing in the ravine. "Uncle, please don't hurt Little White, okay?" Chu Aryu looked up at Wang Lin. Wang Lin looked at Chu Aryu, nodded, and turned to leave. Chu Aryu bit her lip, watching Wang Lin's retreating figure. He seemed so unfamiliar. "Uncle, rest assured, Little Aryu knows what to do. I will reunite you and Sister Wanner," Chu Aryu said loudly. Wang Lin paused for a moment, remained silent for a while, then continued walking into the distance. Time flew by, and 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. One day, in the immortal relic land near the border of Chu Kingdom on the Vermilion Bird Star, a thick cloud of black mist suddenly erupted from the huge pit. This mist rose continuously, instantly reaching the horizon. The dark mist swirled for a moment, transforming into a bizarre plant. The plant was pitch black, sprouting countless enormous leaves, each covered in a multitude of runes, emitting a strange, eerie aura. At that moment, a giant golden net suddenly appeared from the sky. Above the net were 5 phantom flying swords, their light flickering erratically. As soon as the golden net appeared, it immediately enveloped the ever-growing, enormous plant, crushing it with a thunderous roar. "My clan has been hidden for tens of thousands of years. Today, no one can stop my clan from reappearing on the rune star." An aged voice echoed from the depths of the immortal relic land. Immediately afterward, an old man with a face full of sorrow emerged from the pit. However, a phantom image of a leaf, upon closer inspection, clearly had 11 leaves. No, if you look closely, beneath these 11 leaves, there's unexpectedly another leaf. Although it hasn't completely dispersed, about a third of it has already dispersed. The moment this old man emerged from the deep pit, the 5 flying swords above the golden net immediately emitted earth-shattering sword cries. Immediately afterward, 2 of them quickly flashed out from the golden net, stabbing towards the old man. The old man's expression remained unchanged as he lowered his voice and said, "The first generation Vermilion Bird Kingdom's Vermilion Bird son sacrificed himself, using the lives of 9 mid-stage peak-level cultivators to condense 5 sealing swords, which healed our immortal tribe for tens of thousands of years. Today, I can do the same, sacrificing myself so that our immortal tribe can reappear on this earth. Absorb." He pointed his right hand forward, and instantly a talisman appeared in the void. A primordial aura emanated from this talisman, suddenly spreading outwards. The 2 flying swords, which were speeding along, suddenly trembled and struggled, unexpectedly escaping the power of the runes, and quickly retreated. "Turn back." The old man's eyes were calm, always showing a look of profound understanding. He waved his right hand, and immediately a deafening explosion resounded in the air. Countless runes appeared in all directions. These runes intertwined, their momentum as if they were about to split the heavens. The struggling of the 2 flying swords instantly vanished. Called upon by the old man, they flew towards him with lightning speed. Boom! Boom! 2 resounding explosions shook the entire Vermilion Bird Star. The 2 flying swords pierced the old man's chest, trembling violently, trying to break free but failing. In that war, I was just a weakling, unable to change the course of events. I witnessed countless clansmen perish. My body was crippled, but my heart was dead. The old man gestured with his right hand towards the golden net in the air. Immediately, 2 more flying swords flew towards him. Despite their desperate struggles, they could not escape. Guided by the old man's spatial manipulation, they pierced into his body. For tens of thousands of years, I should have died long ago. But my clansmen revered me as their ancestor, offering me their longevity talismans to devour every year. For tens of thousands of years, countless members of my clan have died at my hands. I am, in essence, a sinner of my own kind. The old man looked at the last flying sword above the golden net. He took a deep breath, stretched out his hands, and immediately the last flying sword began to struggle. But with its strength, it was clearly unable to break free. Finally, with a loud bang, it shot out from the golden net like lightning, striking the old man. I am a sinner of the immortal tribe, deserving of death. Today, I have broken through the 11th leaf, the 12th leaf's initial stage, reaching what that cultivator called the peak-seeking stage. However, my talent is limited. I cannot absorb all the runes, nor can I truly surpass that step. I am ashamed before my ancestors and my clansmen who have sacrificed me for countless years to sustain their lives. A vital flying sword, amidst a fierce, howling sound, came hurtling towards him. With a single gesture from the old man, the flying sword instantly flashed and pierced his forehead. In the old man's eyes, the light gradually dimmed. I am a sinner, but my death can bring about the return of my clan to the earth, allowing my body to replace the immortal tribe tree, sealed by these 5 swords. With my soul sacrificed, my clan will be reborn. In an instant, the old man's eyes completely vanished, and he forcefully tore at the sky with both hands. A deafening explosion echoed throughout the vermilion bird star, reverberating everywhere. The golden net seemed to be torn into by a pair of invisible giant hands. The enormous plant formed from black mist immediately burst out of the net, swaying and soaring upwards, instantly becoming a towering structure. At the same time, countless runes all around instantly dispersed and vanished into the heavens. The old man's body slowly merged into the enormous plant, disappearing from sight. At this moment, a group of immortal tribe members flew out from the deep pit. Gradually, more and more immortal tribe members appeared, each of them immediately bowing deeply towards the enormous plant. Among the immortal tribe members was a woman, her face veiled in purple, her eyes calm. I hope you don't deceive me. I want Chan Feng to die without a burial place. Hundreds of miles away, a burly man wearing a straw hat gazed at the enormous plant soaring into the sky, muttering to himself, I hope you don't deceive me. I want the Four-Sex Alliance to recreate the Great Land Kill. A deafening roar erupted from the immortal tribe's territory. This roar wasn't the cry of one person, but of countless members of the immortal tribe shouting together. The sound shattered the 9 heavens and spread across the land. At this moment, a furious roar suddenly erupted from the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, on the peak of Vermilion Bird Mountain where Vermilion Bird Sun was in seclusion. Immediately afterward, the secluded cave on the mountaintop shattered with a loud crash, turning into dust and vanishing completely. Vermilion Bird Sun, clad in a red robe, suddenly appeared in the void. His eyes shone like torches as he looked towards the Immortal Tribe's territory, his expression extremely grim. Immortal Tribe remnants, you are seeking death. Juquezi's right hand grasped at the air, and immediately the clouds in the sky seemed to be strongly drawn into his hand. In an instant, a white token formed from the clouds appeared in Juquezi's hand. He patted the token with his left hand, and immediately the token transformed from 1 into 2, from 2 into 4, and so on endlessly. I, the 14th generation Juquezi, command all cultivation nations of Juku start to wage a second war against the Immortal Tribe. These cloud form tokens instantly vanished. At the same time, in Juku Kingdom, deep within the forbiddance area of the Heavenly Jade Sect, a white-haired old man emerged from his years of seclusion. He wore a black robe, his body emaciated, but his eyes flickered with a dark light. He looked up towards the location of the Immortal Tribe's territory, shook his head slightly, and said in a low voice, "Things must change." This old man is none other than Chu Yunfei, the early-stage nascent soul cultivator and founder of the Cloud Heaven Sect, revered by the disciples. The Earth Soul Sect is located in the west of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Deep within the Earth Soul Sect, a middle-aged man sits in a cave. Suddenly, he opens his eyes, a look of weariness in them, and sighs, "This day has finally arrived, and I never imagined I would encounter it, alas." The last remaining sect of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, the human immortal Tao. At this moment, nothing unusual is happening. The nascent soul cultivator of the human immortal Tao is extremely mysterious. Except for a select few, almost no one knows where he is, nor what he looks like. In the Bilu kingdom, within the soul refining sect, where Dentia is in seclusion, he opens his eyes, a cold smile appearing at the corner of his mouth, then closes them again to continue his meditation and breathing exercises. This great catastrophe on the Vermilion Bird Star has nothing to do with Wang Lin. He was currently wholeheartedly preparing for his second confrontation with the heavenly Tao, ensuring Li Muan's nascent soul successfully descended into the world. There were 2 years left until Li Muan's awakening. During these 2 years, Xu Aryu spent almost half her time in silence. It seemed a deep barrier had formed between her and Wang Lin. Wang Lin could sense that Li Muan's nascent soul was gradually awakening, and Qiru's life force was slowly fading. The moment her life force completely disappeared would be the moment Li Muan would completely devour Qiru's soul. However, Li Muan's nascent soul's growth rate had slowed down in the past year, as if unwilling to grow, unwilling to devour Qiru's soul. Wang Lin knew this was because Li Muan had regained some of her consciousness. She knew all of this. She didn't want to sacrifice a child so that she herself could awaken. This was her choice, but not Wang Lin's. To prevent this phenomenon, Wang Lin used the spiritual power within his body to stop it, allowing Li Muan's nascent soul to continue growing. Water, I know you don't want to devour this child. Trust me, I will handle it well. I won't harm it. After you wake up, we'll take it back to its parents together. I only want your nascent soul, not the child's body. This was Wang Lin's promise to Li Muan. Wang Lin had lied to Li Muan. He couldn't simultaneously protect Li Muan and prevent Qiru's soul from dissipating. If he were to extract Qiru's soul prematurely, this soulless body would instantly generate death energy. While Li Muan's not yet fully awakened nascent soul could withstand it, it would still have a significant impact on her consciousness, potentially even causing the nascent soul to shatter. This was secondary. The crucial point was that if Qiru's soul were extracted prematurely, the cycle of reincarnation would immediately descend. Because Qiru's body would no longer have a soul concealing it, Li Muan's nascent soul would be completely exposed to the heavenly Tao. By then, Li Muan's nascent soul hadn't fully recovered, and under the influence of the heavenly Tao, the impact was significant. The original plan wasn't this. Li Muan's nascent soul would occupy a child's body, grow, and gradually give birth to Li Muan's own soul, thus avoiding the heavenly Tao. But now, everything has gone awry. Except for devouring Qiru's soul, there's no other way to resolve this situation. Within the Immortal Tribe, 4 nine-leaf spellcasters have appeared alongside them. Their powerful strength, equivalent to peak-level cultivators, has launched a war of attrition against the cultivation nation of the Vermilion Bird Star. Simultaneously, shocking news has arrived from the Vermilion Bird Star. In most of this news, the word betrayal is mentioned. A group of influential figures from the Cultivation Kingdom, along with the founders of various sects, betrayed the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. In many crucial battles, the betrayal of these cultivation kingdoms and sects caused the Vermilion Bird Kingdom to suffer repeated defeats. At this time, a rumor spread from the Vermilion Bird Star. Countless years ago, the Immortal Tribe possessed a secret technique. This technique, at the cost of sacrificing a large number of their clan members, could transform a member of the Immortal Tribe into a cultivator. Over the years, the Immortal Tribe had transformed 9 clan members. Because these 9 individuals no longer possessed the physical bodies of the Immortal Tribe, they were naturally free from the seal's restrictions and left the Immortal Tribe, each joining different cultivation sects. This was the Immortal Tribe's most powerful killing move in this era. The Moonstar was infinitely more peaceful than the Vermilion Bird Star at this time. 2 years had flown by in a flash, and only 3 months remained until the final day. Xu Aryu had remained silent for a year. The time she spent in deep sleep gradually increased, and recently she had been sleeping for more than half of each day. Little White never left her side, staying by her side, the sorrow in its eyes growing ever deeper. As for Little Z, it was completely unaware of these things. It lay beside her all day, mesmerized by Little White and Xu Aryu. Wang Lin's divine consciousness remained focused on Xu Aryu, observing the awakening of Li Mengguan's nascent soul. At the same time, he adjusted the spiritual power in his body, ensuring he was in peak condition every hour and every moment, ready to resist the cycle of heavenly reincarnation at any time. His main body deep underground within the lava did the same, adjusting its state to the best possible condition. At this moment, in resisting the heavenly Tao, Wang Lin could not afford to fail. Chu Aryu often murmured in her sleep, sometimes saying, "Uncle, I'm scared." However, such words gradually became less frequent. Most of the time, she would utter vague, indistinct sentences, and tears would stream down her face after speaking. 19-year-old Chu Aryu had grown up. Although not possessing breathtaking beauty, she had an innocent and naive charm. For the last month, Chu Aryu slept deeply and never woke up. During this month, she remained unconscious. Li Muwan's nascent soul had begun to devour it. Zibai and Zizi were sealed by Wang Lin to prevent them from interfering with Li Muwan's awakening. He stood before Chu Aryu, looking at the sleeping girl with a pang of pain in his heart. "Uncle, who are you?" "Uncle, thank you for saving me. Uncle, will you catch a big tiger for me?" "Uncle, I'm scared. Can you take the little person inside me out?" Chiru's image slowly appeared in his memory. After a moment, Wang Lin sighed. The final day had finally arrived. Wang Lin could clearly feel that Li Muwan's nascent soul was about to awaken, devouring Chiru's soul. At this moment, the sky above the moon star suddenly filled with gray clouds. These layers of clouds appeared almost instantly, immediately condensing into a multitude. But within the clouds, a hazy gaze emerged. This gaze was very familiar to Wang Lin. The messenger of the heavenly Tao of reincarnation from 90 years ago had once again descended. That gaze swept over Wang Lin, then settled onto Aryu, suddenly flashing brightly. At the same time, his huge arms stretched out from the clouds, swiftly grabbing downwards. Wang Lin's eyes suddenly flashed, and without a word, he leapt up, his hands forming a hand seal and pointing forward. Instantly, a painting depicting the cycle of life and death flashed in the air. Wang Lin roared, "Get out!" A dense gray mist surged from the landscape painting, roaring as it converged before Wang Lin. At this moment, the enormous arm of the heavenly Tao reincarnation messenger clashed with the gray mist. Boom! A deafening explosion resounded. The gray mist emanating from the painting of the cycle of life and death scattered in all directions, and the enormous arm was sent flying backward. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. With a thud, a rumbling sound erupted from the ground. His main body surged forward, heading straight for the enormous arm, his right hand striking powerfully. Boom! Another explosion, the ground shook, and the air shattered. The arm was unexpectedly shattered by a single punch from his main body. Wang Lin's eyes flashed like lightning as he said, "Even now, you still haven't completely obtained Li Muan's soul." The gaze within the clouds remained unchanged. However, at this moment, two arms stretched out from the hazy clouds, each arm carrying a red lightning bolt. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. The cycle of heavenly reincarnation had arrived, clearly prepared. The two enormous arms instantly reached out, grabbing towards Wang Lin and his main body. His main body let out a low growl, his body flashing, instantly transforming into a giant over 10 meters tall, with 3 points of light spinning wildly on his forehead. He took a step forward, intercepting the arms, and with a loud shout, punched out with all his might. Boom! A surge of powerful energy erupted in all directions. His main body, emitting red lightning, was instantly knocked back, crashing into a mountain on the ground. The mountain crumbled into dust. The enormous arms were pushed back, but this time they did not dissipate. As Wang Lin's arm reached out, he formed a hand seal, pointed forward, and the painting of life and death reincarnation in the air instantly retracted, falling from the sky to block his path. He coldly stared at Wang Lin, opened his mouth wide, and a stream of gray energy flew out, forming a massive wheel. The moment this wheel appeared, the sky changed color, and the earth trembled. Cracks appeared everywhere, spreading rapidly in all directions from Wang Lin. In an instant, hundreds of miles around, amidst thunderous explosions, the entire ground collapsed. A large number of spatial rifts appeared in the sky, connecting like a cataclysmic event. Wang Lin's expression darkened. With a thought, his true form instantly flashed and merged with him, revealing the real Wang Lin. That enormous face didn't even glance at Wang Lin, but extended its right arm and slapped the wheel. Immediately, a strange sound emanated from within the wheel. Then, the heavens and earth were instantly enveloped by an immense force. Wang Lin's expression changed. He was extremely familiar with this force that was the power of reincarnation. He tried to move, but instantly the power of reincarnation converged from all directions, falling upon him. At this moment, the power of reincarnation seemed to form a prison, instantly binding Wang Lin's body. He couldn't move at all, not even a finger. After slapping the wheel, the enormous arm shot down like lightning, its target being Chu-Ryu. No, Wang Lin's body was immobile, but his heart was filled with madness at the sight. 90 years of hard work had been for this day, but at this moment he could only watch helplessly as the hand of heaven descended upon Chu-Ryu, intending to take away Li Muan's nascent soul.